suspension.
That's the name of the game around here. Now we can really start letting the creativity and the fabrication all come together. Did a lot of work on this 2006 Kodiak already.
What else does he want now?
He wants to put an extra wheel and tire in the back.
One in the wheel is going to be a problem. So the structure is going to be there. The flow, it's going to look like it was made like this.
Oh my God, Bill. I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal. You know, we just got a pretty cool 71 Suburban out in the lot. I owned one of these things for a short period of time, and, I miss it. I'm definitely attracted to this car. Good looking truck.
What's up, buddy? What's up, man?
It's endless possibilities what you can do this old Suburban. I've seen them way high, seen them way low. So whatever the owner Ronald wants to do this thing, I know it's going to be cool.
Is that truck you're telling me about from Maryland?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh?
Man, it looks 4x4. Is it true 4x4?
Yeah, it is.
Man, it's cool. What are we doing to it, though?
Man, I don't know. And I got to get on a Zoom call and see what he's got going on.
He just bought it and said I'm shipping it, huh?
It's here for a reason. About to go find out.
Let me know what he says.
Ronald, how you doing?
Doing good, Bill, man. Excited.
Just got that Suburban in, man. That thing it's nice.
It's cool, but it needs to be a little bit cooler.
Oh,
It
definitely.
needs a touch. I mean, you've seen it. It needs some loving.
So, it's here. What are we doing?
I see it lifted up. I see air ride suspension, new tires. I see it pulling a nice airstream down the road and looking just incredible.
Heck yeah.
It's four-wheel drive, so I'm not the kind of guy, I don't like going low, but, I do want it to go up a little bit, and I want the stance to be cool.
So you're maybe something worth aired up from there?
Maybe a little higher than where it's at right now. Does that sound like it'll work?
Absolutely.
I just want it to blow people's minds when it's riding down the road.
That's the name of the game around here.
Whatever you can do, get that thing right. It's going to be a camping vehicle. I'm going to ride it. This thing ain't going to sit in the garage the rest of its life. It's going to be out there riding around.
I love hearing this. Not only get to build a cool truck with cool suspension, it's also going to be on the road and actually being used on a daily basis. What I see on this thing is just taking out the old suspension and just putting brand new 4-links front and rear on this thing, lifting this thing up and just riding with air suspension incorporated. You just want something that when you're driving down the road with that travel trailer behind you, people beside you can just see the moving parts of the suspension.
I want them to be able to see it.
Yes.
Yep.
New wheels and tires on this thing, some nice shocks, big brakes. That's going to be a good looking cruising truck, especially with your trailer behind it.
Maybe even put a little music in it too. I want to, it doesn't have to be crazy loud where, I'm waking up the trailer park. I want a little bit of sound coming out of that Suburban. So
You got it, man. We're going to take care of this thing for you.
I want this thing to be beautiful. It might be a second trip, after you get this done. I don't know.
Absolutely. Phase 1, no problem at all. We can get this thing on the lift, get it tore apart, and get that new suspension built. At any point, you can bring it back, and then we'll start phase 2 to take it to that next level.
Sounds good.
We love working with our customers, no matter, if it's a one lump sum build or if it's spread out over many different trips. If it goes and comes and goes and comes and goes and comes a few times, it doesn't make any difference to us. We'll be there all the way of building their dream truck.
I'm ready. I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time, so.
I'm really excited on this thing. This thing's going to be really, really cool, and I can't wait to get going.
You think you're excited?
Man, we'll talk to you real soon.
All right, sounds good, Bill.
All right, bye. These 6th generation Suburbans are really popular and really sought after. It's unique. It's something you don't see every day. You know, this truck's gonna be built in phases. No problem. Who knows how many phases this thing's gonna go through, but you know, the first phase is always the most critical. That's when you really get the creativity started. You build upon that creativity and it leads to a bigger, better product. You know, once you put the shoes on, you're like, man, I need some new pants. And then you put the new pants on, you're like, gotta have a new shirt. You know, you gotta make the whole outfit complete. You know, that's what we're gonna do right here, is just customize this thing step by step, piece by piece, till this thing looks 100% and 100% custom. What's happening? Man, it just so happens I'm looking at it right this minute. Ronald was clear from the beginning. There's going to be many times he's going to add to the build. You know, I just thought it would be after we finish the first phase. I mean, we got plenty of room in the back of this thing to do whatever we want to do. So the interior is something we could really focus on a lot to really make it comfortable, you know, for you guys for sure. And to be something to show off. All right, man. Thanks a lot. We'll take care of it for you.
What's up, man? Finally got the Suburban in the shop?
Yeah, man.
Cool. Do a little audio in it? Get this thing in and out?
Well, that was the plan. The little audio, that's not the plan now.
Plans changed.
Yeah, I just got off the phone with the owner, and, you know, I guess he slept on it a little bit. He got bit by the bug. He wanted a little upgrade. Well,
We've got a lot of real estate in here to upgrade.
man, there is. There's a lot of room in here.
Well, sometimes it's easier to just do it all at one shot than having to go back and forth with it. It's like, it's there, just do it.
Right. First thing we're gonna do, new interior. Everything in this thing, we're gonna change. He wanted new audio, but now he wants new seats, headliner, door panels, and even more audio.
Sure, we can make something like that work out.
I know you can. The next step, we're taking it over to the fab shop and cutting everything out from underneath this thing. It's gonna look way, way, way better. You know, we're giving it a nice lift with air suspension on it, big 4-link, you know, 40-inch tires, new rims, big brakes. It's gonna have an aggressive look coming down the road. We want this thing to look just mean.
Okay.
When he opens the doors, I want it to have that same aggressive look too.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Basically, take the same ideas that you have going on underneath it, keep those ideas flowing, and put something in here that just says, I'm here, and get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I got my laundry list of work to do, so let's get to it. All right, I'm gonna start with getting the seats out. You know, the idea behind and use it and drive it, not just make a showpiece out of it. We still want to have something that's going to be functional. So keep those things in mind as we go, and we'll start making something cool. One of the things I enjoy about watching a guy get excited when we're building their truck, you know, first when he gets here, they're a little setback, a little reserved, don't want to do too much, take their time, do it in stages. And once it gets here, they get thinking about it, they get all itchy. Next thing you know, here we go. Full builds every time. There's your original color. Seafoam green, I guess is what you would call it. As hard as they try when they do a color change in a car, it never fails. Somewhere you're going to find hints of the color. There it is. For now, I'm going to start with the subwoofer enclosure. That way I know I've got to have that space. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then we'll start making all the panels to make it look good. So what we'll do is we'll take this bottom piece first and just start drawing out around all the pieces until this fits back where we want it to. Then we'll start building it up. Nice fit. You know, it's just like a big puzzle, one piece after the next. Make a piece, cut it, fit it, glue it. Just work it as you go, especially when you're trying to fit into these really tight spaces like this. It's kind of hard to map out and build on a table, so you're just back and forth building it. Right. So what we got to do next is take some body filler, use that as a sealant to make sure that the box is nice and airtight, and then we're going to go back over top of that with some fiberglass chop strand to give it the strength that it needs so we know it's going to stay together and stay sounding good. All right. Box is fitting great. The next step is going to be to build the recessed baffle that's actually going to hold the subwoofer. So what we want to do is we're going to recess them back inside this enclosure about 4 inches. So you won't even hardly see them. They're going to set so far back in here. So to do that, what I'm going to do is a little bit of stack fab. Basically take and just stack up a bunch of layers of MDF until I get it back to where I want it to be. We'll get it attached to this thing, and this box will be just about done. So what I did to get the angles and stuff on the baffle, and they just kind of went off of the angle of the back door. The back wall has an angle to it. We got the same angle on the box, so we're just going to kind of follow that angle forward just so everything flows together. There's exactly what we're looking for.
There's a lot of real estate inside this 1971 Suburban, especially when your box is in the back. He's going to move on to the door panels.
So what we're doing now is we're just making all the parts and the pieces for the door panel. Since we have 4 doors, all of them are going to be the same. So once we make one, just repeat it, duplicate it, mirror image it on the router. That way we can set them all up and work on them all at one time and get the process done a little bit faster. We got the bottom section where the speaker is going to go. What I want to do is I'm going to take this top line here, instead of it being just flat, I'm going to put a curve to it, and then I can round it over. It just takes the blockiness out of it and just gives it some character and some life instead of just being stuck on the door and flat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this scoop bit on the router to give the inside opening a profile and the outside edge a profile. Once that's done, then we can take it apart, put it on the machine, and reshape it and give it a whole completely different look. Sometimes in order to make the ideas and designs in my head, I have to make a one-of-one tool. So I went ahead and made my own jig, my own sled here that's going to create an arc in this piece that is going to give it some dimension and depth. It's a little bit extra work, a few extra steps to take, but that little extra touch really, really stands out, puts the craftsmanship into it, and really, really makes something that's one of a kind. All right, so you can see this one, it has shape to it and dimension both in this direction and in this direction. The next thing to do, attach it to its base. This thing's ready to do some body work. I've done similar things to this once or twice before, but every time you do it, it's always something different, which really is what makes it so much fun. That's what I enjoy about it. I like the creative part of it and the problem solving. You can kind of see the whole door panel starting to come together here, all the pieces. We'll have our speaker set down into this pocket here, and then we'll have our armrest up here.
In the custom car game, no matter what the customer's original checklist is, there's always one more thing. Always. Sometimes we get a project in, it just needs that last final touch to make it 100% complete. We always want to accommodate, but that's one of the challenges of owning a custom shop, just making the customer happy. We did a lot of work on this 2006 Kodiak already, and we were about to ship it out. Then the owner called me up. He just wants to do that one more thing.
One last look before it goes home, or what?
Man, it'd be nice if it was going home, but, the world of custom, it's always that one more thing, right?
Huh. What now? Yeah.
This Kodiak rolled in pretty good condition. We built custom air suspension, made a new front bumper, made new running boards, added a new grill, added headlight conversion, new wheels, tires, and painted the whole truck silver.
What else does he want now?
Well, he wants to put an extra wheel and tire in the back. One that matches the ones that are on the truck, mounted back here in the bed.
Mounting down flat up, or how you want to?
I don't know yet. I'm going to get it in the shop and kind of play with it, see what looks good, what looks cool. So I'm thinking probably mounted 30 degrees or so, mounted up close to the tank, something so if you're looking down on the bed, you can see it, but not something that sticks up over the top of the bed rails.
All right.
That's what he wants. That's what he's getting. We'll get with Max, see if you can get one. I don't even know if you can just get one, huh?
I hope. I'll go get Max figured out.
Yeah, night. We've done a lot of Kodiaks over the years. The medium duty platform is just great to work with. It's different from every other thing on the road, and that's what the customer wants when they bring these things in. It's just one of one, something that nobody's seen before. We've done a lot of work to this big old Kodiak, a lot. But for a thing, we got to make it happen. Sometimes when a customer comes up with the a last minute idea. You know, they haven't been around for the whole creative process. So incorporating their last minute idea into a project that's already been built, there's a few little challenges comes with that. You just don't want a little spare tire stuck in the back. It looks like a sore thumb just out of the blue. You want something that just all flows together and look like it was all thought about from the very get-go.
Yeah, man. Yep, I can have that to you today. That's not a problem.
You know, Max has been a really great addition to Extensive. He's been running point on sales and parts. And he's got a real knack for finding things that are really hard to get. Like one custom dually wheel for the Kodiak.
Have a good day. All right. Hello, Timmy. Just the person I need to see. Uh-oh. I need a favor. Well, what kind of favor?
I need another wheel.
For
Kodiak.
You have 6 wheels.
I thought the truck was done. Bill walked out there and did the old pat on the shoulder and told me we had added some more stuff.
Okay.
The guy wants to be able to travel across country and he wants a full-size spare.
We're in a shop where we do higher caliber builds. Parts, everything's usually custom made, so we have to fabricate them here, or we have to source them from the right people to get them on time. So 4 wheels, not a problem. 6 wheels, definitely not a problem. 1 wheel is going to be our problem.
It's not my problem, buddy. That's yours.
Thanks, Timmy.
You know, there's no such thing as a stock 7th wheel mount, so we got to make one. We got to make this 7th wheel mount rigid enough to hold this big, heavy wheel. We got all of our pieces cut. We should have all of our angles right, so we got our spacer that simulates the angle of the wheel. We got our smaller spacer in the back, so we got a little tilt to the wheel. So when you look down into the bed, you'll be able to see that nice displayed wheel. So I'm gonna start putting the pieces together real quick. We'll tack it all up and we'll see if it fits. You always start out with the vision that you have in your head of the basic idea.
Top needs to go back.
You know, once you start building it, you don't want to get dead set in your ways. You want to improve every time you build something. So even if it's something to just building a wheel holder, you always want to think of different ideas. And you know, usually those ideas keep us way behind schedule. Let's put another tack on this. You know, mounting a 7th wheel in this 2006 Kodiak isn't what I call a common request, but that's what makes it fun coming to work in the morning. You know, making the unexpected look like it should have came like that from the beginning. Let's unclamp this thing, see if it fits in. So we got to cut that off so it don't hit the wheel, huh? Just mark with a soapstone, and we'll just weld it up and grind it from there. Good, man. Yeah, come out nice. I mean, it's got some strong mounting points on it. It looks good. Man, this thing's going to last forever. Yep, no doubt. We want that big, heavy wheel on this thing, shaking going down the road. You know, start fatiguing everything if it wasn't built super strong, and that's what we got. So, looks good. It's clean, strong. Go, let's do it. All right. While John and his team are finishing up the interior, we're rolling the 71 Suburban right into a bay so we can get started on that brand new custom air suspension lift.
So we finally got this old Suburban inside the shop. We're gonna take it and break it down. We're gonna take everything off of it that's on there. Take all the suspension out from under it, shocks out, axles out. We're gonna get it up as high as we can, make it look really aggressive, have some fun. So the advantage to working on an older vehicle is that they're a lot more simple. The disadvantage is everything's froze up and a lot harder to get off and loose. If you've got the right tools, some rusty parts won't stop you. Finally got the front off, completely disconnected, all the hardware and everything disassembled. Time to move on to the back. This drive shaft's reusable, so it can actually be shortened or lengthened because it's welded. We're going to keep this slip yoke for this transmission and truck.
Let's put it on here first.
All right.
Now we can take it up there and pick it up, put it on this.
Sweet. Thank you, sir. All right, so we finally got everything off the truck. Front axle, rear axle, all the suspension parts. We can bring in all the new stuff, and we can get this thing up in the air where we want it.
We tore out all the old suspension and cleaned up the stock front and rear axles. So now Jamie and I can start mocking up the air suspension. Whoa, that's probably pretty good, huh?
Uh-huh.
What we're gonna do with this thing is an air suspension lift. Okay. It has some nice airbags on this thing, nice shot, big 4-lane.
Oh, yeah.
So first things first, let's get the rear end located with the air deflated. Okay. And once that's located, we'll weld a pipe down to the axle so it can't go anywhere. Okay. Drop it down a little bit. You know, this thing's gonna have a big 40-inch tire, but he's also wanting to tow his camper with this thing too. So we can't just go crazy and just make it way off the ground. We want this thing to have a low stance and also be able to air this thing up and get it way off the ground and just be really aggressive. Get it bolted up real quick and point it at it. You know, try to get it 0 degrees here. Pretty close.
These old Suburbans are unique. You don't see a lot of them on the road anymore. Everybody wants a short wheelbase, you know, fleet side, but not too many people build these Suburbans. That in itself is pretty cool. I mean, think about during the flood, how many people would have loved to have one of these and put all your stuff in it, not get nothing wet. I mean, it's got multiple uses for something like this. I'm actually looking forward to building it.
Scoot it back a little bit. Let's see what you got from center to here.
20 1/4?
That's on the money, 20 1/4. So we got everything 100% level, 100% true, square. The rear end is located exactly where this thing needs to be. So now we can start building our 4-link from the axle all the way up to the frame. Man, we can run a string line.
I think I can shoot one straight all the way back, right underneath the axle.
Let's just drop this thing down. Then we can hold a string line here to the center of the axle and get it parallel with the frame. Then we can measure it right down here to the center of the string. So we know center to here where our measurement's at. Can we hold this real quick? Go down, Tim. A lot more of the front axle is to get it perfectly level with the back. So when you let all the air out of the suspension, the truck still sits level, even though there's, you know, no air in it. And then you air it up from there. Then you got a perfectly level truck as it's going down the road.
Look, I'm kickstarting a Harley over here.
Looks good, huh?
Yeah, everything, both axles are right where they need to be.
Man, perfectly centered, perfectly level, and at the perfect height with everything all bottomed out. We can get busy building.
Let's do it, man. I'm ready.
We've lined up the front and rear axles on this 1971 Suburban for our custom lift. And now we can get to building it. You know, one of the major pieces of a custom lift like this is the hanger. The hanger needs to be super strong, and it serves many purposes of locating where the pivot points are in the suspension so everything articulates and flows together, rides right, doesn't bind the drive shaft up. There's a lot of importance in locating the hanger in the right place, and the distance in between the two pivot points, you know, that reacts, you know, driving on the road 90 miles an hour versus off-road. You know, there's a lot of little intricacies in building a hanger like this, and you know, you gotta add some style to it too and make it cool. You know, the next step is just going to burn the hanger pieces out. What up, buddy?
What's up, man?
Here we go, man. So I need to build these hangers. So make these at 1/4 inch so they're super strong, and we'll box it all in.
I got it. So I took this
this, drew my box, got my measurements. Now it's time for the computer to do its thing. Okay, now I'm just cleaning up these rough edges, punch these holes out, and take it over to Bill.
Okay, so I got the base of the hanger Jesse just brought back over. So I'm gonna go ahead and mock everything up. So I can go ahead and put my plates to box everything in to give it the strength. It's real early in life my grandfather had given me. Then I went to taking stuff apart, like everything. I remember my mom bought me an RC car. For the world of me, I thought, well, I'll just put a vacuum cleaner motor on it and it'll work. That never went back together. The vacuum or the car. So from basically being young to taking things apart to being older now to taking bigger things apart, some things just don't change. Alright, so now that I got these two pieces on the side right here, I'm gonna go ahead and weld all on the inside right here. So that way to be as strong as possible, I have a weld on the inside and a weld on the outside. Okay, so basically right now I made some gussets right here. This is pretty much the last piece to be able to mount this on where it's solid. Alright, so got all these welded up, all the gussets done. So this is ready to go up underneath the truck and we'll just keep going. We got our hangers made. You know, the next step on getting this bad boy all the way up and down is building the 4-link from the hangers all the way back to the rear end. We're making our 4-link bars, so we want everything 100% true, square, both sides. So what we're gonna do is make a little parts to be exactly the same length. So when we mock up one side, we're gonna use the bars to mock up the other side. So our bracketry, everything is 100% true and identical. Okay, so I got the link bars welded up, everything's cleaned off of them. Now it's time to go ahead and bolt them up. Get them on the truck.
We got our bars 100% true with each other off our jig. By using the 4-link bar, that tells us exactly where our mounts are. So everything else is 100% square. So that lines all the bars, all the brackets, everything up 100%. Now all we got to do is tack it on and keep rolling.
See, I got both the upper and lower link bars on. Everything looks parallel. Everything's bolted up. Like the way it looks. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the rear now.
The 7th wheel hitch is back from powder coat on the 2006 Kodiak. We're just missing the 7th wheel and tire. And then this extra large build will be ready to go home.
Hey, Val. One wheel. One tire, mounted balance, ready to go.
How'd you do that?
Very carefully. Yeah, called in a few favors, but we got what we needed, so.
All right.
Heads up, it's heavy.
All right.
Going from point A to point B is not always a straight line. You know, there's always obstacles, and, you know, we just have to find the part, because when they come in and say, hey, Max, I need the part, that's what I do. I find the part. See how much bigger you are.
It's almost as big as me.
Always loved Kodiaks. It goes all the way back to 2006 when I had my own. You know, I love driving that thing. I love just the girth of the truck and just being different from everyone else. So when this truck showed up, showing its age, I knew exactly what to do to make this thing 100% right. What's up, Vinny?
What's up, Bill?
How you doing, man?
Good, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Beautiful day to get a Kodiak back, huh?
Yes, sir. I've been waiting. I can't wait.
I know, man. I'm really excited. Man, you came in, this thing, it was hurt.
Yeah, it needed help. It's an iconic truck, but it needed a facelift. That's why we brought it to you. Purchased the Kodiak about 6 years ago. We tried to do a little stuff ourselves to get it to ride better and look a little bit help. I ran into a guy at a show in Arizona who told me to take it to Texas. That's why I said, take it to Texas. And we hauled us out here.
That big truck just commands attention when it drives up. Maybe a little unwanted attention in some areas.
Attention in the wrong spots. Put it that way, yes, sir.
Man, we addressed all those things. We got this thing looking good, riding good.
I just can't wait. Let's do it.
Man, I'm ready too, man. Jamie, come on with it.
Oh my God, Bill. No way. Oh my God. Oh, wow. Yeah, the headlights, the grill. That is bad. I love it. It don't look old anymore.
No.
Oh my gosh. Woo. It looks like a totally different truck. I don't even know where to start.
Hey, I told you we got you, man.
I know. Hey, I believe you, but now I really believe you. That's crazy. Oh my God, yes! That's what I'm talking about. Woohoo! That's so cool. Oh man, it's over the top.
What you think?
I like it.
What up, man?
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't know what to say. Takes my breath away. It's awesome.
Benny, you see this thing pull up, it commands attention.
Yes, sir.
Right? From the new headlights, stretch bumper, new grille, running boards on this thing, fresh coat of paint all the way through it.
All manuals are sick.
Drop low to the ground.
Yeah.
Totally changes the whole stance.
I don't even know enough words to say how excited I am. It's sick.
Man, I appreciate that. I think so too, man. I mean, it's something we're definitely proud of.
Oh, yeah.
It looks cool, man.
Yeah,
it's a cool truck.
Absolutely.
I got one more surprise for you.
Oh, okay.
Check it out.
All right. Oh, man, Bill. That's awesome.
I know you wanted something back here to show off your other wheel, and, you never know. You might have a flat, right?
1,200-mile drive. I want to make sure I'm safe. Don't want to take no chances.
That's it, man.
So this is the first 7th wheel I've seen. Man, Bill had a great idea how to recess it in the hitch. Go ahead and tie it in the toolbox, make it kind of look like it's floating. Man, it came out awesome.
Good job. You guys killed it. Nice.
Appreciate it, man. I love when we get these trucks in the shop, bringing them back to life, making an older truck look brand new. Doesn't get better than that. The 4-link is done on the 1971 Suburban's custom lift. So now we can get to building the bag mounts, the point off of which the airbags will attach. Turn it all the way one way and then back to where you're at, and then all the way the other way and back to where you're at. One last thing we got to do before we build the lower bag mounts is our steering. So we need to build our steering cross-link and have all that, the steering and the lower bag mount, and plenty of room for the bag itself. So last thing we want to do is build this thing again.
Okay, so we got the steering, everything's hooked up, everything looks pretty good, everything moves freely. So it looks like we have enough space for the bag bracket right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and start making these right now. All right, so my process is doing a bunch of bag mounts. Basically, my first thing is I'm gonna get all my material cut to length I'm gonna need, and I always cut a little over because you're gonna trim back and cope everything. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking off little bit by little bit until it fits, and to make sure that the bends are all in the same place, they're all coped on the axle the same height, and everything's even underneath the back plate. It's a lot of cutting, grinding, coping, but once it's in.
Man, Jamie, it looks really, really good. We got a nice foundation. Now we can really get down to business and really start letting the creativity and the fabrication all come together and make something really cool. The owner of the Suburban wants to be able to haul a trailer with the lower bag mount to the frame to hold all that trailer weight. I just made a quick little template from the other side, my center punch holes, so we can duplicate this side so everything's 100% same. Once we had the center punches on both sides, we can drill our holes and then bolt our upper bag mount mounts right to the frame, and then build our bag mounts right down to the back. Jamie's rolling some pipe, then we're gonna chop it up and then get it fitting.
Okay, so you can see, basically I'm running these pipes in at the same time. Each one I do the same way, so I have the same bend right in here. If I was just to hit the button down, it would be all kinked, and if I just did one, then did the other one, it wouldn't be any good. So this is just the way to do it properly, is go ahead and just do each one. Every time I drop the machine down, I'll run another piece of suit to make a nice circle on them. So you just gotta do it over and over again. Patience, slow and steady wins the race. All right, so basically I'm trying to make a perfect circle so I can cut this and use each side for each one of these to be the same radius to the bag mount. So when you do look at it, it's going to be perfectly the same. It's really important, you know, for it to look right, because otherwise it's really going to draw your eye if it doesn't flow with everything else. Not only does it need to look right truck, because all the air is on this bag, so this is going to be basically holding up this axle. So the structure is going to be there, the flow, it's going to look like it was made like this. So people that know about custom cars, welders, fabricators are definitely going to notice how much fabrication time went into something like this, putting this together. It's something I really look for and appreciate when I see it in other builds.
The cool thing about this, you know, you can get lifts done anywhere, but none of them look like this. I mean, this is our cool little signature stamp on this thing is, you know, not only riding good, handling good, but to have the styling of the bent pipe. You know, that's one thing that sets this thing apart from all the others on the road.
Hey, what's up, buddy? It's Max over at Extensive. One of the toughest things about this job is managing all the builds going on at the same time. I'm in kind of a bind and I need some help. If you're not highly organized, it'll pile up on you and you will crash and burn. My love for cars came at a young age. When I was young, I got magazines that had all the custom cars in them, and I just thought that was the coolest thing, that they always cut them up and, you know, change stuff, and I was always about that. I've been in the automotive industry for probably, and then got into the custom car game, and I got the opportunity to come down here. So picked up a family, moved to Texas, and the rest has just been great. Yeah, man, no, I really appreciate it, man. You're helping me out a ton. What I like about working at Extensive is the camaraderie of everybody that works here. We're all here to build cool stuff. We're all on the same agenda, and the energy here is really, really cool. It's a fast-paced shop, but I'm a fast-paced kind of guy, so we mesh really well.
Now that the custom lift's back from powder coat and installed on the 71 Suburban, John can take all the handmade pieces and start wrapping.
You know, looking at this door panel, everything's working out really good. I got it nice and deep inside the pocket. I got one more little trouble spot to work out. We'll be home free. All right. Looks like luck might be on our side today. Next thing we gotta do, finish wrapping that around. Then we'll go over everything, hit it with some heat, get it warmed up. This thing's gonna look beautiful. Put a little bit of vinyl down the bottom of that hole, and then put it on.
You know, with over 10 feet of cabin space, John and his team have a lot of wrapping and installing to do. It's just like Christmas. Headliner, seats, new audio. Well, at least for now. I know when Ronald sees this truck, he's going to be blown away. I mean, it's just such a huge transformation. What's happening, Ron?
What's going on, Bill?
Long trip, huh?
It was a long trip, man, all the way in from Maryland.
Man, it's good to have you down. It's good to, I guess, to finally meet you in person.
I'm glad to be here, man. I'm excited to see this truck. Flew out here to Extensive today, and I've really been anxious to see this truck, and all my friends know I'm driving everybody crazy. So I'm really excited to get in this thing and just drive it as much as possible.
Ron, I know, you bought the truck on the internet, right?
Yeah, I did.
It wasn't really quite what you wanted, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
So that's why we're here.
That's right, man. It needs some loving.
You wanted something that rode really nice and looked cool when you're pulling your travel trailer.
I wanted it better than it was.
It's more than a little better.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Way more than a little better.
I'm sure it is. I can't stand it right now, man. I'm ready.
Let's check it out.
Let's bring her out. Yes, sir. Look at this.
What you think, man? Mean coming at you, doesn't it?
Mean ain't the word for it. Look at this thing. This is beautiful. Yeah. Woo! Nice. She is sitting on those tires, man. That is insane. Oh my God.
She looks a little different, doesn't she?
She looks a whole lot different. I am slammed. This is everything that I imagined. I mean, this is just phenomenal, man.
You haven't seen another three-door looking like this?
Never, no. You can go online and never find one like this.
That's right.
This is it.
I'd cruise that one for sure.
Definitely.
That's a highway runner.
Oh, I can't wait, man. We're going to use it. It's not going to sit in the parking lot somewhere. This is going to be on the road, and it's going to be going.
where it needs to be.
And everybody's going to be looking. There's going to be turning heads, man.
You know, the first thing you see of the wheels and tires and that big suspension underneath of it. Got to work building you a cool custom 4 links front and rear.
The size of all that tubing, I mean, it's incredible. The strength you put underneath there. I see it. I mean, you can't miss it. It's beautiful. I love the wheels. Perfect choice, man.
Yeah, man, that thing looks good. Really, really good. I mean, it's something we're definitely proud of.
Oh, yeah,
for
the
sure.
stance, the size. You know, when you see it coming at you, it says, get out the way. You know,
That's right. Yeah, man, the stance on it is killer. It's mean.
That's what you want, right?
Yeah, man. It's everything I wanted. I love it.
pretty okay.
That's pretty okay.
John, let's let him check out the inside.
All right, let's check this out.
Oh, look at this, man. Oh, God, you killed it.
You know, John and the boys always kill it on interiors. Always.
I know that's right, man.
Yeah, so we just went through everything, you know, from top to bottom. New carpet, redid the seats.
That's right.
Redid the door panels. We got all that brown in there. We pulled the pleats into the doors to match the seats. We went ahead and did the headliner, put some lights up in there so you got some mood lighting when you're cruising down the road.
There you go.
New radio in the dash, new system all the way around, subwoofer enclosure in the back. Everybody will hear you coming too, so.
They'll see me coming before they hear me.
That's questionable.
Yeah. Oh man, you guys blew it out of the water. This is phenomenal, man. I mean, it's going to go a step further because it's coming back to you, and you're going to do some more work to it. But for right now, this is headed in the right direction.
Ron, getting projects like this in, it just really, it wakes everybody up, you know, just it reignites everybody's fire, gets that passion going again, and just the creativity just really starts flowing, obviously.
Yeah. You know, this is my first project car, and I'm hooked, man. I mean, hook, line, and sinker. It's contagious, but I mean, I want to see this thing go as far as I can take it.
Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, however you want to do it.
I'm stoked.
I know you can say phase 1 was a complete success. All right, Ronald, enjoy this truck. I'm sure I'll be seeing you real soon for phase 2, so come on with it.
Cut $10,000 off this truck. Oh, you didn't just bring more wiring over here.
Size-wise, this 2019 Polaris is a small vehicle for us, but it's got some big issues. Heck, having this thing, man, this thing was in a tornado. Anything we can do to help you, man, and help your granddaughter, you know we're in.
If this ain't hooked up correctly, nothing's gonna work.
Oh, no way!
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Yeah. You know what better way to have a little family bonding than having your kids help you cut up a car? And before I send this thing off to get scrapped, I figured I'd give my kids a little lesson on how to use some tools and cut some metal.
I never really use like tools like this. Like, I mean, it's not that bad except for it's just like, you know, pumping my arms out, but that's all right. It's a good workout, and I really like working out, so I guess it's fun.
Couple little more pieces, the whole roof's gonna be off. Go out on your side. Got it? Yep. What do you think?
Heck
Fresh
yeah.
convertible?
Yes.
It's a good family day. We cut up the car, and so now we're just gonna have some fun.
Test it out.
Yeah.
Hey, where's Cleve at? Cleve! Come on! Come on! You know, I can't really tell you personally how many donuts I've done in this parking lot. You know, maybe 1 million or so. You know, but this is Cleve's first, and he seemed really happy to be here. Man, I love seeing this thing in its stage like this, it finally feels like this thing's coming together. You know, after being so long just a cab on the lift, feels like we're getting some things done.
It's been a lot of hard work.
You got that right. I mean, just getting this thing apart's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
We're months into making this 2020 Denali 3500, one of the first ever body drop in the world. The owner wants to haul some of his other show cars with it to SEMA. So we had to put more engineering into this thing to make it perform even better than he wants. With a body back on the frame, it looks like we're almost done. But I can tell you, we're a long ways away.
Oh, Lord, are you guys trying to pull a house or something? That's serious.
Damn right it is. I mean, this transfers all the weight from a trailer. Sometimes it could be 20, 30,000 pounds of stopping and starting. Goes to this right here.
So we can put a house on there.
Absolutely. Just from the start of this, getting it on the lift and tearing it apart was a major job. You know, laying the chassis out, building the chassis on the table, getting the frame underneath this, you know, rear suspension. Just to get to this stage is huge amount of labor.
I know.
This is not just double work or triple work. It's not even quadruple. What's after quadruple?
A lot.
The finishing work on a build like this is always the hardest part. It's a huge build, but the small details, they take a lot of time. Now that we got the foundation, we can build the front suspension and huge wheel tubs that tuck those big old 28-inch wheels. Color match the frame and plastics, create a fully articulating speaker system in the bed, and finding space to put everything back together under the body. And that's rewiring, reconnecting, rebuilding, making this truck 100% brand new again, just like it is. We got a lot of work done, but there's still a whole lot of work to do and a whole lot of parts to order. So let's get to it.
Let's get it.
This stage of the build, it's all about making room underneath the body to cram everything back in. So Tim and John are getting started to making room for these big old wheels.
The name of the game is bigger the wheels, the lower to the ground. And you know as well as I know.
Most important thing,
the brake
system.
We're not going to cut the factory fender tabs off. We're going to use those to line everything back up. That way it'll look factory from the outside, and it'll keep all the factory gaps exactly the same. We're going to build back a support with some DOM. We need something that's going to keep all these tabs 100% where they're at and keep this where it's at. Because then the fender will bolt right back up here, and all this will gap back perfect, the hood will shut perfect, everything will stay right.
You know, I've seen a lot of custom builds where they made something look good, but later on down the road, it just didn't hold up. Yeah, so we got to fit it down now. We got to have form and function, stability. What good is a cool car if you can't drive it down the road safely? Pretty damn good.
That's going to work. That clears the hinge, clears the hood, supports that.
Clears the gas shock too, so we don't have to mess with that.
I think everything's been perfect.
I'm welding the fender tabs right to the support to keep everything in line. Now we got our new support in there, we can remove all of this to get our new big wheel in there. There you go. Starting to see this thing getting put together and starting to look like a whole truck again.
You see the door gap, it all lines back up perfect. We don't even have to sit there and try to make the fender mounts.
Yep, and it's looking real good.
While Tim and John are making good progress on the 2020 Denali's front end, I'm going to get started making articulating speaker brackets for the bed. You know, just having a drop dually, big wheels all the way on the ground just isn't enough. You just got to have that little bit more. So we're going to make a speaker bracket that mounts 4 speakers in the bed and articulates up. So when he's parked, he can actually raise it up and the sound projects over the bed and out to everywhere. I took a couple of quick measurements off the bed with the bed cover, with the wheel wells, and made a quick drawing on the table so I know exactly what kind of room we have to work with, and we'll come up with some kind of mount that's going to be cool. Just a lot of figuring out to do. You know, there's a lot of pivot points, a lot of measuring. We'll see what happens. We need to make one a little shorter to maybe kick it up a little bit or kick it down a little bit. You can play with all those little angles holes, all those little pivot points to make the speaker do whatever you want to with it. So once we make them act right, we can duplicate that in bars and pipe and bushings.
Man, that's something to try out, but having some articulation like this, where it actually moves and it's got function to it, man, that's that next step.
I'm using the measurements from the rods and bolts to make the final articulating arms for the speakers.
So have something like that.
I want these things quick, so Max and Jesse are going to weld these things out, all while me and Jamie are going to make the frame to hold all these mounts to the bed. You know, it's one thing to lay it out on the table and make little bitty mounts and get it in your head, okay, it's going to work, but when you actually convert that over to the bracketry and drill holes and spend time making all the pivot points right, the little bars right, you put it all together, you know, there is some question there if it's really going to work. So right now we're going to put it together and actually see if it's going to do what we need to do.
You just have that in your head, just popped it out.
I mean, figure it out till it works. See what works. Speaker about here, you know, facing out, then coming out over the bed. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like really cool.
We finished fabric, gonna make room for it in the bed.
All right, now we're to the point we need to put this bed on the new frame. But as you can see, the notch of the frame and the gooseneck hitch is gonna stick through the bed. So what I'm gonna do right now is just cut a hole out in this bed floor so I can get it on there, and then we'll go back and figure out how we're gonna build this back in. When this truck's laid out all the way on the ground, you'll be able to walk up, look in the bed, and the gooseneck hitch and the bag mounts are gonna show through the bed floor. And you get to appreciate all the work that went into this frame, which for me is a nice change. But a lot of times we'll do all this and it simply gets covered up. All right, now we have a hole.
I'm about to cut $10,000 off this truck. We gotta remove all this, because once that truck lays down on the floor, we need room for that big tire to reach all the way up here. Now we get all this out the way, now we got plenty of room for these big wheels and tires.
Which means it's got 4 wheels in the back. So that means we need to make even larger wheel tubs in the bed to fit those 28-inch tires.
This is how we roll our sheet metal to get the same radius as our wheel tub. And we need a little bit more. So the tub has to be extra wide to accommodate both dually wheels on the back of this truck. So what we're going to do is butt weld the new piece to the old piece, and what that is fitting them tightly together on edge and welding right along the crease. Just to let you know, welding around magnets sucks. These magnets hold a piece of the metal together while I weld, which is good, but because the welder uses a metal wire, that same magnet disrupts the arc connection. So it can be a little tricky. Welding is nearly impossible.
John officiated the marriage of these two pieces of metal. Relationships have ups and downs and bumps. So me, I'm a marriage counselor. I'm gonna smooth this out.
You on fire today?
Things got a little smoky around here.
What's up, Doug?
Hey, Bill, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you, man.
In the custom car business, it's always good to get those repeat customers. We worked on Doug's 48 GMC truck years ago. Good to see you, man. What are we doing with this thing?
Well, we're not doing anything to the truck. We're going to focus on the most important thing. That's my granddaughter's Polaris.
That?
This.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, I know it don't look like a Polaris today, but it used to. Her house was hit by a tornado on Easter Sunday, an EF4 tornado in South Mississippi. They lost everything, destroyed the house, destroyed everything, lost all of her toys, clothes, and she lost her Polaris. And this was the most important thing that she was looking for after the tornado. So we've got to get it fixed. The tornado hit my daughter's house with our 3 grandchildren, and it scared me and my wife to death. We were here in Houston. She called us right before it happened, and then it was 15, 20 minutes before she called us back and told us they were okay. Very scary moment. When everything was done, and this was the first thing she went to looking for, and it was 250 yards away, and you can tell that it may have barrel rolled once. So that's why this Polaris is so important.
You know, we customized a lot of vehicles in all different stages of the customization, but never one that's been through a tornado. I don't know if there's really much hope for this thing, but we're definitely going to see what we can do. I think the first thing we need to do is actually get this thing down and really see what we got to do. You know, get that frame back straight. I know there's probably going to be some frame issues, and put new plastics on it, make sure that all bolts back together right. And I think instead of just bolting the factory cage back on, just build something cool for her. Make it so she's, you know, not only looking cool, but safe also.
Absolutely. She loves this thing, and whatever you do is going to make it that much better, Bill.
Yeah, this thing's going to be cool. You know, this isn't a normal project we do around here. You know, but being so close to the Gulf, we know all about what those storms can do. Anything we can do to help you, man, and help your granddaughter, you know we're in.
Man, I appreciate you, Bill. That's why I come to see you.
You know, a job like this is what I would normally turn away. But, you know, when an old friend brings it in and it has such a heartwarming story, you don't have any choice but to help out. Looking at this after it's been in a storm the way it has, and just seeing the steel being mangled and rolled over, but it just shows you how much power the wind has. And I'm just happy no one was hurt in that. I'm going to pull this into the shop, and everybody's going to go, what are you doing? What's this here for? But once they hear the story and they hear who it's for, I know they're going to be all in. By the time we get a small project, right?
The heck happened to this thing? It looks like somebody jumped it.
Man, this thing was in a tornado. The wind did this. Chunked this thing a quarter mile. You know, it's Doug's granddaughter. She just cherished this thing. This was her favorite thing to have, right? And they lost their house. They lost everything. So we need to bring this thing back to life. What I want to do is get it in the shop so we get a nice level surface. Let's take off all the plastics and, you know, skirting on this thing to see what's bent and what's straight.
Yeah, I'm sure once you get all this off, all kind of stuff's going to be...
Yeah, I'm definitely afraid of that, but it ain't something we can't handle for sure. Now, once we get everything back straight, I want to go back with new plastics, bumpers, front and rear. And we'll probably wrap the new plastics too to not have the...
Everybody else look?
Exactly. If we're going to do it, we might as well make it special for it. We'll put doors on this thing, to get rid of that. It's not as safe as doors on this thing. We'll top it off with some lighting, and, she had speakers underneath here, but we'll add some cool ones to it. Once we get all the bottom of this thing all nice and straight, we'll go back with a custom cage, just a one-off, and we'll make the roof a little longer, stronger, meaner, and a lot cooler looking.
It's really cool to do this back for her and make it all back to something she really enjoyed. It's going to be better than Christmas for her.
Be nice to be a part of that, right?
Yeah.
Doug's definitely going to be Grandpa of the Year.
I might adopt him as my grandpa.
Keegan and Joey are going to tear this down so I can see what shape the chassis is in. Have you ever had one of these in here, kid?
Not something like this big, but maybe a little small, a little tiny 4x4.
A little small one?
Yeah, ride around every once in a while.
Good?
Yeah.
Good over there? Ready to go up. Tweak to the rear of the frame on the little side-by-side. So what I'm going to use is the Porta-Power here. It's basically a slender jack. So you put the little pieces together until it fits into place, put it in between the frame and the bent part of the frame, jack it up perfectly straight when I'm done. Double check the level real quick on that.
It's riding the line a little bit, but it's still in between the lines.
We want it on the money.
Well, it's off. It needs to come up on this one.
This one? Up?
Yes. Come on up, right there.
You know, being thrown through the air like it was, this frame is in better shape than I thought it was going to be. Check it right here. But even small bends to it can have huge consequences.
It's kind of wobbly on that thing.
So our first step, we need to straighten it up.
Go up on it?
Yeah.
Go up, Mo. Up. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second. Let's get a long piece of tubing and stick right here. We went just a little too far, so we can give it a little tweak.
Okay.
You know, so we're jacking it up, push a little bit. So you got to push it up just past level, so when the tension releases, it comes back level, right? Well, we went just a little bit too far, so we're just going to take a big bar, twist that sucker again, and make it perfect. Man, do that one more time. I think you got it. Perfect.
Size-wise, this 20, but because the tornado literally threw it a quarter of a mile, it's got some big issues. You know, Jamie fixed the axles, we straightened the frame, so now we can put on new plastics and doors.
All right, Jamie, I think we're ready for the door, man.
Well, let's see what happens.
Trying to get the other door on.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Hey, Bill.
Huh?
Everything's in. Man, this is how much further than it's supposed to be.
To the center of that hole.
That one ain't in the same shape.
That's 32 and an 8. Yeah, it's been a little bit.
It's got a belly.
Typical job, you know, you thought was cut and dry. Okay, this is bent, let's fix it. Done. Everything should line up, right? Well, that's not the way it works. Start putting the doors on it, notice, whoa, this doors overlaps the body by an inch. So trying to just bend it back an inch is going to be pretty difficult.
Where do we even start to pull it?
Let's get this thing off of here, get it loaded up on the back of the wrecker.
Okay.
We'll strap it down and see if we can pull it with the winch.
Cool.
Tilt forward. We got the front and the back of the frame are still tweaked. So we're going to use the wrecker and the winch to stretch the body, all while keeping the integrity of the frame. It's the only tool I can think of. We can pull at multiple points at one time and still hold everything from the back and strap it down to the wrecker. So we'll see what happens. Here, come do this real quick. Let me look at it.
Okay. Ready?
I'll tell you when to stop. Just as easy as you possibly can.
All right.
Okay, do it again. All right. Cut off. All right. You know, the wrecker and the winch definitely done its job. Door's got plenty of room now. We definitely tweaked it, moved it forward. You know, the next thing is getting everything back nice and level so it all lines up and everything will be on the money. On the other side of the shop, Tim and John are finishing up the extra large wheel tubs on that 2020 Denali.
Now we got a completed extended rear tub. Now I can get this placed in the bed, clamped with a straight edge across the top, and get it tacked in place.
Well, that fits nicely. I like it.
Place.
Now we can weld these things fully and get ready to move on to capping these edges and putting the bed back on the truck.
We have the tubs made here. Now we need to make the filler go down to here. Something to keep the dirt out of there, the mud, the water coming out all the way. This will really just enclose the wheels and it adds strength and structure to the tub. So we're going to tack it. When we come back and grind it, it'll all look like one piece, like it wasn't made out of 3 pieces. This whole tub will look like a one piece you just set in here.
Because the Denali needs to look like a show truck and perform like a work truck, we need to build a massive set of control arms to keep all that weight going straight down the road.
Building control arms for a bigger truck, you want to have a stronger arm than your typical square body or regular half-ton pickup truck. That's why we use thicker material, bigger, better ball joints to be able to accommodate not only the weight of the vehicle, but the weight that's actually attached to the back of it as well.
Go ahead and throw the wheel on. just to make sure when it pushes out, we're not hitting here. We clear everything. See what it looks like laid out too.
Yeah. The top of this bar is going to that represents our suspension being bottomed out completely, which in turn means the truck laid out all the way on the floor.
Man, you think it looks good in there? You got to see it from out here. It ate up half that wheel, put it all the way in there. It looks good. It looks real good.
Does it look as good as me?
We sent the chassis off to powder coat. Now we can get to reconnecting, which is probably miles of wire, back into a space that's way more limited.
So when we first got started with this truck, hooking all of this, that was easy. Very easy. But going back and putting it all in, laying all the harnesses out, that's really, really not fun. Oh, you didn't just bring more wiring over here. I was starting to feel good until I seen you walk over with that. Was that heavy?
A little bit. Now I know why this is a 1-ton.
Needed a 1-ton just to hold up all the harness.
Yeah. You got this, buddy.
We're going to have to get that box so it fits there.
We got to get all these wires, all these sensors, everything plugged back. Almost everything works on a loop, where if this isn't connected, half the truck on that side won't work. If something's not connected, a little sensor in the back, this might not work, that might not work. So everything has to be plugged in. This is factory, so the computer doesn't throw any codes or act like there's a problem anywhere.
Custom frame for the 2020 Denali is back from powder coat. The white is going to match perfect with the body.
You know, the powder makes a really, really nice coating on it, and it gets into every crack and crevice. From the raw steel, raw tubing, raw pipe, to this, it's come a long ways. It looks totally different once you get some color on it.
Definitely. Looks real good.
The fact that it's color matched to the truck, it didn't look like you just took some frame and put anything. You know that frame goes to that truck on those wheels. Everything unloaded, everything's situated on the table. We can start assembling the frame, put the motor and transmission on it, roll it underneath the body, and put the body down. And it's going to look good with the big billet wheels on it going down the road.
Tornado damage on the 2019 Polaris. Now Jamie and I are going to build a custom cage from scratch. You know, the tornado definitely threw this thing for many loops, but you know, we got this thing back where it needs to be. The next step is building the cage. So once the cage is built, tied into the framework of the little side-by-side, everything is going to be super strong and not bend or give. It's going to hold everything perfectly level and straight. So what I'm going to do first is just start bending some pipe up, get the angles right, and kind of step back and look at it, see what feels right, and just keep building upon that. Set it over here. Jump to the forward, please. What I want to do is build a sporty custom cage. We obviously have to replace what's missing. So if we're going to do that, I want to make something, you know, a little bit lower profile, stretch it a little bit. Instead of just buying a new one online, you know, that's what we do. We build custom things. So not only, you know, put some safety back in it, some rigidity back in it, but put some custom coolness back in it too. I like the way how everything flows, man. It looks good, and it's super strong too. She's gonna be happy.
Definitely looks real good together.
My kids are gonna be so jealous.
Oh, we gotta build another
one. Man, it's come a long way since this little side-by-side was tossed by the tornado. Jamie's making a custom aluminum roof.
That fits nice. We're happy with that.
And we had a custom wrap made for it. We're adding in a brand new stereo system and some light bars. I can't wait for Doug's granddaughter to see this thing now. So I'm really excited. You know, we finally got this project done. Today's the day we're going to give it back to some special little girl. You know, typically I would usually turn a project away like this, but you know, considering it's for Doug and what it means to Doug and his family, I can't not help out on this.
What's going on, Bill? Man, good to see you.
How you doing, man?
This is
Hi.
my granddaughter, McKinley.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
I heard a lot about you. Grandpa's pretty proud of you.
That's right.
Your grandpa was telling me you were in a little scary little incident a while back. Tell me what happened.
There was a tornado.
You were in the tornado? Was that scary?
Yeah.
Man, I bet it was. Not only your house was totally gone, there was something you really loved was gone too, right? What was that?
My buggy.
The wind took it way far away?
Down to our pond.
In the pond? It was messed up bad, huh?
Yes.
Her buggy was only 6 months old, so I knew I had to bring it here to get it fixed. It meant a lot to her. Now it's time to see what Bill and the boys have done.
I tell you what, we got you fixed up. Grandpa got you fixed up. You ready to check it out?
Yeah.
I bet you are. I bet you ready to ride.
You ready to ride?
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
Let's see it. Holy cow, look at that, McKinley. Man, that is awesome, Bill. Look at that. What do you think?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah.
Golly. Wow. Bill, that don't even look like the same buggy.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, that's a good thing. Man.
Last time you seen it was a little squished, huh?
Yeah. When the buggy came out, I was so excited to see it. Let's just say I was speechless.
Man, that thing looks great, Bill. Tell me what all y'all did.
Well, you seen the parts we had to work with, right?
Yeah, I did.
Once we put it on the lift, we started dismantling it. We really noticed the frame was hurt a lot more than originally thought.
Yeah.
The plastics and everything were hiding a lot of damage underneath there. It had to replace the rear axle, replaced all the plastics. So we put new bumpers on it. And of course, it didn't have...
What's that on the door?
A tornado.
A tornado?
Had Pixelworks come over and they custom wrapped it. They designed this wrap for you.
For you. You know how we know it's just for you? It's got Doodle on the door.
Hey, where'd you get the name Doodle?
Popsy gave it to me.
Popsy gave it to you? That's awesome.
Man, it looks great, Bill. It really does.
Build a whole new cage. We made all that in-house. Instead of buying, just a replacement, we made it a little bit shorter and a little bit more laid back. Give it a little more cool look, sleek look. Made a new roof for it, made it a little bit longer. We made it all out of aluminum. Went back with lighting, had to put the stereo back in it. And we put some little antennas on the back with lights in them.
That's all. What do you say?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Doug, I know this is special for you, and it's special for us.
Man, that's nice, isn't it?
Thank you for letting us be a part of this very special project. Side of the shop, the guys are making good progress on the rolling chassis. And now it's the moment of truth. 4
links to the axle, hook the airbags up, and then we'll be able to run all the brake lines, the brake calipers for the front wheels on. We can air it up and roll it out. But we have to put all the wiring on there, all the modules, the DEF, all that's going back on. So the whole thing will be hooked back up like it was factory. Now it's just the tedious part of just putting it all back together.
This 2020 Denali wants this low and loud. We got the low taken care of. Now to make it loud by finishing up the articulating speakers. I got the hard part done. I got the lifting part that's going to lift the speakers over the bed. The next step to all this is making it motorized. So I'm going to put an actuator on the back to lift this up, but I'm going to try to do it with just one actuator and trying to make it lift evenly. That's another little trick too. So once that's all set up, put 12 volts to it, it should lift these speakers right up over the bed. Looks pretty dang close. The whole object of this whole bracketry is pushing a button and having the speakers come out of the bed. Just whole overall project, right? What I'm going to do is cut out a piece of 2x2 square tubing to make a bracket for the lower part of the actuator. Affix it to the whole bracket, push a button, and it lifts up. We got all our pieces cut. We got everything mocked up. The next step's putting some power to it and see if this actually works. You know, everything we build, you know, you have a general idea. Once you have the idea, then you start building plans. The main thing is just having the creativity of having the idea. That's a huge hurdle. Once you have that, it's just using your skills, using your tools, and just making it happen. Pretty cool.
Everything back from powder coat. We've got all the front suspension on, the rear suspension's on, brake lines are ran, fuel lines are ran. We're at the exciting point now. We can finally marry this cab to this chassis. It's like you do everything, and here's the keys to the new house. Now you can move in.
Is that in?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Just trying to line up here to line up this bolt with this hole. There we go, straight down. It makes it much easier. Plus the motor's so tight, the transmission's so tight that you don't have a lot of room side to side. All right, ready? Yeah. So we put it down. It's a little bit too far off. We'll hit the body. We could hit a module. Could hit something else. So we're gonna take a little bit of time, line this up, drop the whole thing down, and everything should clear. How's the radiator look?
We're getting close.
Watch your fingers. We married the cab to the chassis. We're about to do the bed to the chassis. All right, we gotta watch this bar when we set this down. We can't scratch it.
Down, 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 down.
Go forward, down. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Good job, guys.
And now you can see the bed on the truck. You can see all the notch coming through that's gonna hold the gooseneck. All that white shining through the black bed liner just stands out and pops really nice.
Now we got about 40% of the wiring done. This thing got so much electrical going on. It's about a full day of work just messing with wiring. This is the main fuse box to the whole vehicle. If this ain't hooked up correctly, it needs to be sent. I should only go on one way. See that little green thing pop up? That means it's connected and tight. The plug from the bottom is seated properly to the pins at the bottom of this fuse panel.
Man, we're at the final stages of getting this truck off the lift and on the ground. Seems like we've been doing wiring for 4 days now.
I'm so sick of seeing wires. Most of them are plugged in. Only a few left that are really giving me a hard time. There is just a ton of wiring and connectors that gotta get crammed in the areas and tied down. Oh man, so much stuff.
On big builds like this, it's super satisfying to see it all come together at the end. 28-inch wheels, speakers attached to articulating arms in the bed. We're ready to show this to the world.
I don't know about you guys, but I've been here 7 years now.
I've been here 7 years also.
Oh yeah, for sure have, huh?
This year will be 12 years.
That's 12 too many.
You know, it's like anything, when you start here, you know, Bill has his own way of doing it, and then you start seeing a new helper show up. He starts doing it some other way, and you're like, maybe the way Bill's gonna want it.
Yeah,
so
you gotta pass it on. Everything will roll along a lot smoother doing it the way we've done it.
It's definitely easier, you know, that we work together so much that we already know how this other person works. You know, I know what you're gonna do, I know how you're gonna do it, and I can pick up right where y'all left off.
We just practically became mind readers. We know what each other's
yeah.
We know what each other's doing and how to continue.
Pretty sure I spend more time here than home.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can guarantee I've opened that gate and shut that gate more than Bill himself.
You're right about that.
The big day for the 2020 Denali is finally here. And JD drove all the way down from Kansas City to see what we've been up to.
What's up, man?
What's going on, Bill? Good to see you again.
Hey, good to see you, man. It's a great day, huh?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Great day to pick up a dually?
Yeah, I'm excited.
I heard you got a little car collection yourself.
Yeah, I do. I got quite a few lifted trucks, a few hot rods.
But never anything lowered.
Yeah, nothing slammed.
You know, what finally clicked and said, I gotta have a lowered dually?
I heard it was the world's first. I had to do it. Nothing better than a lowered dually. The reason why I wanted a lowered truck this time is just pulling up to shows, being able to slam it down to the ground, watch people's, response. Just something different than the lifted truck scene that's been going on the last few years.
I love lifted trucks, but, close to my heart is lowered trucks, and especially lowered dualies.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
You ready to check it out?
I am.
All right, come on, Timmy. Let's check it out.
Oh, no way. No way. Oh. Yeah, you guys knocked this out of the park. Yes. Yes. Woo! That's what I'm talking about right there. Yes. Hey, I wanted it low. You got it low for me. Yeah, that looks good. The white frame, color matched everything, sitting on the ground. This is beyond my expectations. I can't believe it.
What you think?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, you guys did an amazing job. It's awesome.
Thank you, man. I mean, Timmy, John, they got down on this, as always. Well, how we had to start is picked it up on the lift and just started unbolting and unbolting and unbolting. Once that was all done, rolled it out and just got busy. Built the suspension, the air suspension on it, to building super strong control arms, to a big, heavy-duty 4-link for the rear. I mean, this is one of the biggest, strongest frames we've ever built here. I mean, it is overkill.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what you want. That peace of mind when you're going down the road, you want to know that everything is 100% strong and built the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, you guys did it. So it's absolutely amazing what these guys can do. Can take a brand new 2020 truck, take the old frame out and build a frame from scratch. I mean, I'm just absolutely blown away.
JD, what do you think about those wheels?
Yeah, I love them.
A 28-inch dually wheel on something that low, it just makes a huge, huge statement.
Yeah, the polish looks great on them. Engraved the Richline Motorsports in it. Perfect fit, too.
To finish it all off, you see everything's been color matched. Got rid of all the black plastic. We smoothed all that out, painted it body color. And, it just makes this truck look classy.
Yeah, it does. It's not too much chrome, not too much white. It just all flows together.
Let's check out under the hood.
Yeah, let's check it out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that looks good. I can't believe that you guys took all this out and got it back in and still made it look factory. Yeah, that's amazing.
Man, it was hard enough getting the motor up to the cowl, much less.
Yeah, I got the tubs in here, color match everything. I mean, it looks great.
I appreciate that. You think this is cool. I really got something to show you in the back.
Yeah, let's check it out. I'm excited to see it. Oh, yeah. God, that is crazy. You can see everything.
Right?
Got the gooseneck in here. That is amazing.
That isn't just something that just bolts into the bed. That is all made directly to the frame. It's artwork made into the framework itself.
Yeah, this should be able to pull anything that I need to pull.
Absolutely. Those huge airbags on there, just pick this big truck right off the ground with whatever weight you got on it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah.
You wanted some speakers in the back.
Yeah, I see that you guys added some speakers in here.
Show me the other part?
Yeah, Timmy hit it. Down here in the bed's cool. It's going to make, a lot of noise, but check this out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
There's just one more thing. People are just going to go, what?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Not only, the look of the truck is going to draw people, when they hear this sound, it's just going to project for a mile away.
Yeah, that's awesome how it's got the actuator to bring it right up. I mean, you guys knocked it out of the park on this. This is a dream come true right here. Hey, you know what? Maybe next SEMA, I can find something a little bit harder for you guys.
JD, you threw us a tall order, but as you can see,
an entirely new dash, something that'll give us a new feel for a very old truck.
This is the first time making a frame with cut plate like this for extensive. It's only been a few months since we finished phase 1 on Ronald's 71 Suburban.
What brings you back? I need some more work done to it.
We can definitely wake this thing up.
I've discovered a huge no-no.
It's not only wrong, it's dangerous.
I'm always up for making things go fast.
This is the definition of custom.
Carlton, I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
I got a customer, Jose. He's got to have a 68. Jose, been to a few places looking at a couple projects. None of them really worked out, but hopefully today we'll have a little more luck. What's up, Jose?
Hey, Bill, how you doing? Well, I've been looking for a 68 for a while, but I haven't found one that has caught my eye.
So my boy Rigo said he's got one in the back of his shop, man. Maybe we might be able to make a deal if you're interested. Maybe we'll test drive this thing.
Let's check it out, see what he got.
We'll see what's up.
Rigo! What's up, baby?
Rigo's a welder who helps us out from time to time. He's got a 68 Chevy in the back that he's used a few parts off of that'll be right up our alley.
It's in the bag, man. I hope it can work out a deal. How's the body look? Body's straight? It looks good, man. For what y'all gonna do is right. All right, well, let's check it out.
Look at it.
The 68 truck has always been my dream truck since I was a kid. Growing up and going to car shows, it's the one that always stood out for me.
Here we go.
There it is. Well, Bill, it is a 68 cab. I was thinking we were going to buy a whole truck.
Yeah. You know, Rigo told me he had a truck. Rigo's got parts.
You got a nickname, Keith.
You got keys.
I know Bill's the master at this, but guess we got to keep looking.
Well, man, you know, all the ones we looked at, they look good till you get up to them and really start looking, and then you find all the little hidden problems.
Right.
The advantage to something like this is you see all the problems. There's nothing hidden here.
Right, right.
You know, so getting a vehicle, well, parts like this is kind of a head start. This actually save a few hours of teardown time.
I see what you're saying, you know, maybe you'd save some time, but, you know, is it really feasible for us to buy a truck in pieces like we have it now?
Man, everything's here. The bed's clean, which is really hard to find. The door's decent, fenders, hood, and that's pretty much everything we need to really start building a truck like this.
But there's a reason I came to Bill. I trust him. If he tells me that this is enough parts to build my dream truck, I'm going to roll the dice, and we'll see what he can come up with.
Man, we don't need 85% of the truck. Okay. We're just going to toss it and start anyway. So you want, you know, a full custom chassis, suspension, the brakes, new wheels, tires, crazy engine, and interior. I mean,
you'll have to tear it apart anyways.
I think it's a heck of a start, man.
Right, right. Yeah, I want that truck that's a showstopper, that's a little unique. If you think you and your team can give me my dream truck with these parts, I think we can take it off Rigo's hands.
Sure, let's go holler at Rigo. I kind of like the fact there's not too many in 1968s anymore. There's only so many made. If you find a 1968, it's either way built out, way pricey, or it's just way too far gone. There's very few or in between. This 68 is in a lot of pieces. Most shops that see a project like this and just keep walking by. And this one would have just continued to rust and just fall apart, cease to exist in so many years. But with the skill we have here, the tools we have here, the manpower we have, the knowledge we have, we're going to create something really cool.
Man, I wonder when the truck's getting here.
Got some parts for us?
This is it.
Man, one of these days they're just going to come with the steering wheel and expect us to build something.
I hope there's some more parts in the van.
We got everything we need right here. We don't need the frame. We don't need the interior. We don't need all that stuff a truck usually comes with. It's a head start.
Thanks, boss.
Look, you can see inside of the cab. All the problems are exposed right now. We know exactly what we need to do, and we're good. It's a great start.
Definitely know what we don't have to.
To really set this thing apart from all the other ones on the road, We're going to start with a huge motor in this thing. You know, about 800-900 horsepower is what I want. A full custom chassis front to back because Jose wants to put it all the way on the ground with these huge wheels, 26 by 16s in the back. Fabricated rear end, smooth bed, everything, all the sheet metal contoured and painted all body color. You know, as far as the firewall, we're going to cut all that completely out, make a new one. Some with some bead roll panels in, something that looks really cool. It's nothing for you guys.
You got this, Tim.
You have a plan for the interior?
We're going to let John just roll with it and go crazy. As far as the dash, that thing has to be cut completely out. I can't stand these dashes that are in these trucks. We're going to build every piece and put a ton of stereo in it. Want it really loud also. As for the doors...
Got doors?
Yes, we got doors. You know, that's a huge head start too. To have flush mount glass put in this thing, it's going to be totally custom. Step ahead right there. It's easy. Hope I didn't jinx myself on it. Come on, man. Let's get this thing off here.
Let's do it.
You know, the good thing about getting a truck in this shape, we don't have to spend a lot of time tearing it down. We set the cab straight to blast, and because that's all we have is the cab, it came straight back. And it's in pretty good shape. But we're not done tearing it down, because now John's going to make room for a custom dash.
So we're going to do something in this truck that's going to give us a nice new feel for something that's been done over and over and over. You know, you can only beat a dead horse so long until you just throw it away and buy a new horse. So, new horse. The plan here is first, we've got to get rid of all this old dash. We'll be cutting from door to door, all the way across the top, unbolt it, and just throw this whole thing away. We're going to be building an entirely new dash, new instrument cluster, AC controls, something that'll give us a nice new feel for a very old truck. Now there's nothing left to do but everything.
Yeah, but everything.
I'm starting to work on the 68 Chevy frame. Jose wanted something just totally different. He's like, hey, just make me something that's unique. So with a truck that's super low to the ground with air suspension, it's pretty common to see frame rails coming up, protruding through the bed floor and going over the axle. Well, in this case, I want to show off the axle itself is the beauty of the suspension. So you look down into the bed and you see just custom axle with suspension going underneath of it and not really seeing a traditional frame. So I think that's what's going to be the cool aspect of this whole build. Most of the link bar setups that we do is just a 2x2 box tubing with a block on it and they bolt to the axle. Well, this is going to be, just as different. This chipboard is going to represent our link bar. So it's going to bolt to the frame and come back and grab and just hold the rear end. We're going to burn 4 plates at a 1/4 inch plate and then come all the way back to the back side of the frame and then box it all in. Just to save a little time and effort, I'm going to have 2x4 box tubing to here, and then I'm going to graft it to what we're going to build. There. The next step is just transferring everything that's on the table onto my piece of paper so Jesse can burn it out, figured out. Got my saddles figured out. I got my frame rails figured out. Off to Jesse. The plasma table about 12 years ago, and almost every car that's came through here since, we made a part or parts with it. But like all good tools, especially ones you use every day, they wear down. So we ordered a brand new, way better table. But I got one more job for this one. Hey Joe Hill, all right, I want you to burn these link bars out for me. 4 of these 1/4 inch material, 4 of these 1/4. And the same with the frame rails. All right. This is probably going to be our last job on the old burn table. We got that brand new one coming in. So let's put the old one to work one last time. All right.
Okay, so what I'm doing now is all the measurements that I got off the cardboard that Bill gave me, I have to put on here. We're going to cut 4 pieces of each, which will make it 8 total. All right, so this is going to be the last time this machine is going to be used. Old Betsy here, this is it for her. Those look good. I like how they came out. They came out real clean. Just clean them up. Polish them out. Take them over to build. That was the last run for this machine. Man, I can't wait to use the new one.
You know, there's a good reason why 68 C10s are so popular. With that classic body style, there's a lot of room for customization. For me, the difference between an average C10 and an over-the-top C10 is most definitely the details, like a John Burgess one-off handmade dash.
This is essentially the foundation for the dash. Everything's going to attach to this and be built from this structure out. So I want to make sure that this piece lines up and gets in here exactly where we want it, nice and smooth and even. Because if not, we're going to see it in the end. And with this being the dashboard, you're going to be sitting here staring at it all day, every day as you're driving this truck. So you'll see what's wrong with it. So we want to make sure we take the time to get everything just right. We'll get it secured in place and get ready for Brian's pieces.
Got a delivery!
Just in time.
Ooh, hot off the there. Hot. Don't touch it.
Well, I just getting everything marked out here where they're all going to go. I'll mark them. You want to cut them and we'll get them glued?
I'll cut them.
Got jigsaw ready to go.
Ready to go. Let's do it.
All pieces to the puzzle. Perfect.
Look who it is. Oh man, he's back. Thing still looks good.
Man, it does. It's only been a few months since we finished phase 1 on Ronald's 71 Suburban. It came in pretty dated, but it left with a huge custom lift, big wheels and tires, and a completely custom interior, dash, headliner, seats, and audio. You know, after he saw it, I can tell Ronald got bit by the customization bug. And sure enough, he's already back.
What's going on, Bill?
What's happening?
How you doing, buddy?
Man, how you doing?
Tim?
How was your drive?
It was good, man.
How's that thing doing, man?
It's awesome. Turning heads everywhere I go.
Yeah.
It draws a crowd.
Man, that thing's still looking good.
It's beautiful, man. I'm thrilled with it.
Man, that's always good to hear.
Oh, always, yeah.
What are you doing? What brings you back?
I need some more work done to it.
Phase 2?
Phase 2.
All right, now you're talking.
Drove it around a lot, had a good time with her. Phase 2 is now on my mind. The bug bit me, and I'm totally into it. You know, I really want to take this truck to the next level.
So, Ron, what you thinking on phase 2?
I'm thinking I need more power in the motor. I need something to beef it up a little bit. I mean, it's good the way it is, but it's a big truck. It needs some power in it to push her around.
It's a big wheels and tires.
It sure is, man. It sure is.
Let's check it out.
All right.
Ron, it's definitely a little underwhelming, right?
Definitely.
I mean, but you got a great platform. I mean, the LS in it is definitely the way to go. I mean, we can definitely wake this thing up.
I'm sure you can.
You know, I think what this engine compartment needs is a supercharger on this thing. New intake, you know, new exhaust all the way out the back, and some painting underneath here. You know, bring the body color into the engine compartment and just make it so, you know, you can be proud of this thing when you pop the hood.
I won't be afraid to open her up.
Yeah.
Let people see this part.
I agree, man. We need to add some color, add some style, take off this stock valve cover, stock air cleaner.
That's got to go.
I think everything in here's got to go.
I'm trusting you, Bill.
This thing's going to be right. You know, it's a shame having a custom truck where you can't pop the hood. So I'm glad Ronald wants to fix up this engine compartment. I think something else that might be pretty cool on here is, the thing looks mean coming down the road at you, but maybe adding some aftermarket bumpers to really just finish off the attitude of it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of attitude right now, but you're right. I think some bumpers on to set her off.
Yeah.
Another thing is, I'm getting up there in age, man. And my knees can't take jumping out of this thing all the time.
We lifted it too high for you?
It's a little too high, man. So some nice steps on there, whatever you think, you know, fit the vehicle, you let me know.
Would definitely get you hooked up with that, but you know, wouldn't want to put a Nerf bar or anything on this. It just looks too clean from the side, not seeing the steps. So we'll get some retractable ones so you can still get in it easy. But
I agree. I'd rather not know that they're even there. I think that's the way to go.
That sounds cool, man. Let's get this phase 2 going. Go make it official.
Sounds good.
A customer always tell you, hey, I'm going to come back, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Well, when they actually come back, they come into the parking lot, you see them back, you know we're doing a good job. We're doing what we're supposed to do. It's time for phase 2. I know exactly what happened. Once a customer gets their car for a little while, they drive around, put miles on it, their brain starts working. They start thinking about, what they need, what vehicle better. That just goes to show you, when you're bit by the custom bug, you get that feeling. You just got to have more and more and more. Just like any part of the project, especially like a phase 2, I just love that progression. I love how the project evolves even bigger and better.
What's going on, buddy?
You remember we did this truck a while back, put the lift kit on it and all the interior? We took it back home. He wanted to just drive it for a while, and now he's saying he doesn't have enough power. So, we're going to put a Pro Charger in here, then we're going to put a front runner kit on the front, so that'll dress up all the motor. Probably put some headers on this thing, let the air flow out of the motor a little better. He wants to just clean up the engine bay, just make it look where if he pops the hood, it's presentable.
I mean, it's decent, but I'm sure he wants it a whole lot better, right?
Yeah, he wants to add some bumpers, because, the truck's lifted now, and in your face, you just kind of see the stock bumpers. So we're going to add something like a steel bumper on front and rear.
Some nice aggressive bumpers on it. Definitely wake this thing up.
And when building these trucks, it's never done. It could be phase 10. You still got to add something.
Yeah, I'm still not done.
In order to get more access to the engine compartment, I've asked Edgar and the guys to pull the front end off.
The fab guys are going to put a supercharger on this thing. So what I need to do, I need to take off pretty much the whole front end of this vehicle so they can have space to work on it and do what they have to do. I put tape lines all over the front end. So when everything is off, put it back together, it should be the same way. Ahí, go up, whoa. No, the other way.
Ponemos en medio.
Putting this engine apart, you can tell it looks like it has a ton of miles on it, which is typical, road dirt, road grime, everything from driving your vehicle, which this man did. But it's all coming off very nicely. What I'm doing is cleaning all the intake ports, and I'm gonna mask all that up, tape it up, so nothing will get inside the cylinder heads. Something gets in there, gets through the valve, goes in the combustion chamber, it'll mess up pistons, valves, all kinds of stuff. We don't want that to happen. That's why I don't wear wedding rings. Oh no. There's a big notch in this frame, which somebody made in order for the exhaust to clear. It shouldn't have been this big. When you got a notch in frame like this, you got to go back and put some kind of reinforcement back in there because you just took out a lot of strength. And driving around with notches like this is really dangerous. So we got to build it back up the right way.
When we built the lift for the 71 Suburban, the headers were hiding in the cutout section of the frame. Only after we removed everything could we see it. It's not only wrong, it's dangerous. It makes the whole frame weak. So John's got to fix those frame rails before we do anything else.
The issue you have with this is you don't have very much structure right here in this area. How thin it is to the wall when you're driving, going through rough terrain or whatever. It makes the frame twist and bend and everything. When it does that, it causes cracks. So what we're going to do is go back and repair this, grind this up, clean it up real nice, make it look like it's never been cut before. I got those grinded down. I'm ready to cut out the plate to go in there. So we got us 1.5 by 5 inches, 3/16, same thickness as the frame that we're going to patch back up in here. But first I got to get this piece to fit in there perfect. Once that's done, we'll get it welded in. I think it should fit in there now. One of the best things you can do when butt welding the plate together is make a nice bevel on the edges. Wherever you're going to butt to, you do it on the plate and the material so you get a nice V groove in there. When you lay your weld down in there, it penetrates all the way through the bottom end of the plate. And you only got to weld the top. You won't have to get to the bottom because your penetration will go all the way through. Got that fully welded in, a little smooth out and it'll be good. We got the strength back in here. It's good as new.
Jesse finished making the plates for the custom frame on the 68 chassis. So now all we got to do is box those plates in. You know, this is the first time making a frame with cut plate like this for extensive. We never just really had the time to take the time to make a custom chassis like this because it is a ton of work. Jesse did a real good job of cutting out this 1/4-inch plate in the shape of a frame. So the next step we're going to do is wrap some 2-inch flat bar all the way around the shape of the plate. And we're going to box it in, weld it, grind it, and it's going to look like it's a bought piece. So what we'll do is just bend this by hand. You see we've got a flat spot here, so it needs to be a little bent, a little more right here. So bend it a little more right there. Alright, see if you can get one rubbed into that. Alright. You see just the layout, the drawing, the cutting, the shaping, the welding, and even the grinding. It takes 10 times more than just a regular chassis. Just a little bit. Just a little bit, move it down a little bit. So we're putting a lot of extra time into making Jose something really, really cool, really sculpted, and really special.
So as you heard Bill say, this is a first for Extensive. I'm new to the shop, so this is a first for me also. Kind of got thrown in the mix, but it's the only way you're going to learn. It's cool to be able to be working here and be working on something that's never been done here also.
You know, we got a lot of tools around here to do all kind of different metal shaping, but, you know, sometimes it's just way more efficient just to grab the metal and just start manipulating it by hand. And, you know, that's the true definition of working with your hands and being handcrafted.
All right, I got this one close. Bill's template, a couple more bends, and it should match. It's gonna work, guys.
While we're boxing in the 68 Chevy's frame piece by piece, over in interior, John and Brian are moving on to the next stages of the custom dash.
You know, the structure's really coming along. Everything's starting to come together and take shape. We got to have some place to put a headlight switch. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to attach that to the dash pad and make that part of the dash pad, and it'll come down and sit on top of the dash right here. Sits here, you got your headlight switch right here. It'll all tie together. It'll look pretty cool. The other thing about these things, they're organic. They kind of take shape and do things as you work along. So as Brian's over here doing the body work and getting the lines in and everything's starting to take shape, you can really see it and know where you're headed. And you know, you get to add those little touches to it along the way to make sure that everything flows perfectly and just nice. The cool part about it, the organic part of it, is just it grows as you go. So it's enjoyable. Look what I got.
Oh, how'd you get that thing?
8-9 weeks out. We got it in a week, so
wow.
Can't complain.
No.
Now all we have to do now is find out if that internet template works out.
Time to cut it.
We finally got the cluster in that we ordered online. I looked all over for a template. They didn't offer one to print out. Cheated a little bit. I blew the screen up and took a measurement until it all fit, traced it out, and transferred it. So now's the moment of truth. See if this thing is actually going to fit or not.
Boom, baby.
All right, man, you got it all cut out.
It's all cut out.
There it is.
Moment of truth. Here we go. I got my toes crossed. Don't even worry about it.
Okay. Man, there's no way I got that close off of that template on the computer screen.
Bruh, it fits.
No way. That thing fit that good?
I mean, look, dude. I mean, we're through within 1/8 of an inch. Just need a little mud to make it dead on perfect. But, I mean, you can't get no closer than that. Just guess it.
Right on. Cool.
Sweet.
Well, let B's Mud Palace go to town.
Time to mud it up.
We found a really aggressive front bumper for the 71 Suburban. You know, we couldn't find the exact right look for the rear bumper, so we're going to make it out of quarter. He's got a press big enough to bend steel that long and that thick.
What's up? All right, man. And your dad said you had a project going on for me?
Yes, sir.
We got a bumper here.
Yeah.
Is that a 1/4 inch?
1/4 inch by 75 inches.
It's gonna be some heavy duty bumper here.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll get it done. You can come with me.
All right, let's do it.
All right. This metal here is real thick metal. It weighs about 500 pounds a sheet, 10 pounds per square foot. So that's what we're working with. All right.
It's really cool that my dad can just give me a couple pieces of paper and some measurements and dimensions. I give it to him, he knows exactly what to do.
All right, what you got now? You got 2 inches right here?
Yeah, 3 1/4, 7 1/4 altogether.
All right, we're going to get this show on the road here. This is a 12-foot long press brake. It's 250 tons pressure that it'll bend 90 degrees. If you need a big piece of metal bent, you need to come see this brake right here.
Now let's see.
Yeah, it looks good, man.
It does.
I think we got it.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate it.
With the Suburban's frame fixed, Edgar's color matched the firewall and the engine. Now it's time for Matt to wake up that LS.
Perfect. Now that we got our motor back in it, get our Pro Charger on it. It's a belt-driven blower. It's going to force air into the motor. With more airflow plus more fuel, you're going to get a lot more power. Motors have always been my thing. They've always come kind of easy to me. I'm always up for making things go faster. This plate allows us to mount the blower to the factory pulley assembly. And now we can go ahead and install our head unit, which will attach right to the bracket off to the side here. This is just the idler pulley here. So the motor's power will spin the crankshaft and the belt through all the idler pulleys to the blower pulleys to create all the airflow that'll come out of here. All right, so now we're gonna put our sheet metal intake on. So this intake allows for better airflow. The way the runners are built, it's designed for the air to travel smoother into the motor with less restriction. So not everything has to do with performance in the custom world. Sometimes you just want to spend that money to get your engine to look good. Part of the reason we're changing these valve covers, factory, all the coils sit on the LS valve covers, and these ones come with no provisions for coil packs, and we're going to hide them just for the overall appearance. It's going to be a lot better looking. Next step, we're going to put our throttle body on. It controls the airflow into the motor. When you mash it to the floor, it pulls it open and allows all the air that this Pro Charger is going to create to push right in there. We got that put on. We can put our AC compressor on, and then we'll move on to putting the main drive valve for the blower on. Okay, so we're going to install a set of Shorty stainless headers. These do help with performance, but they also make it look badass. Like it? Man, it's huge improvement. You know, this truck's going to get a whole lot of attention no matter where it goes. And he's going to have some more power. Quite a bit more power. Those tools come together.
The 68 C10 frames really come together nice. So we got our pieces we cut on the table, our 1/4 inch plate. It's going to be the sides of our new frame rail. We got our flat bar that we shaped to match the contour of the pieces that we cut. So we're going to put them together, weld them all up, grind them down, nice clean lines, and all totally custom. Step is just tacking the top part of the frame in. You know, it's like any project, you got to take your time. You know, the challenge of this is to not have any flat, jerky parts in it. You want everything all nice and smooth and consistent. You know, we got to make sure everything is perfect. No flaws in this whatsoever, because everybody's going to be looking.
Thank you.
You know, after a whole lot of cutting, welding, grinding, hand bending, we're at the point we finally start to put pieces together, and it's finally going to start looking like a frame.
Man, this thing looks cool.
Man, it's getting there, huh?
I haven't seen one of these before, or one like this.
Yeah, we've never made one like this. I've never even seen a frame that goes under the frame, comes back and just curves around everything. This is the definition of custom. Here, help me hold this. You can clamp this. This one's going to finish up on the back 1/4 of the frame. So I want to maintain this being level, straight, to worry about it moving. If it does move, I can see it coming off the ground and how to correct it as we're building it. You see the back part of the frame, everything flows together. It, starts on one side, just goes all the way around like a old school slot car track. Once this is all capped in, that'll finalize the rear part of the frame. Pop in the suspension, the whole back half is completely done. Good morning.
Good morning.
How y'all doing?
It's going.
Give me some good news on the engine transmission for the 68.
The motor and trans that the customer ordered is not ready yet, and we don't know what it is or when it's going to be here.
That always complicates things, right?
Yeah, he can't get a hold of his transmission guy, so we don't know when it's coming, specs, we don't know anything about it.
So we can't mock anything up or anything?
Nothing at all.
Our live space is hot commodity. We're super busy right now, so we can't afford to everything, and then it's still not here. And then the truck's stuck on the lift. So what I think I'll do is just pause the whole thing. I'm disappointed for sure, but I've been in the game long enough to know every build has its own path. Sometimes you hit a bump, but I guarantee when we get our parts, we'll get back at it. And then Jose's gonna get his 68 Chevy of his dreams, and then some. Let's have everything all lined up. That way we can pump it out.
Yeah, sounds good.
Next time I come in, give me some good news.
I'll try.
See ya. Come on, Cleve. This shop never stops. One might slow down a little bit, but at the same time, phase 2 of the Suburban is almost complete. We got our super strong 1/4-inch plate all bent at a nice little angle, so it's gonna look really good against the truck. So the next step is just tacking it to our bumper brackets that we made and start building. Yeah.
You want to just 45 this back?
Just kind of getting an idea, kind of seeing what looks cool, what doesn't. It might add not, it just depends on how it starts looking, how it starts taking shape. Maybe something like that. Just another part of the custom creative process of making something cool. Yeah, whatever looks cool, that's what we're gonna do.
Man, this is rounded right here, and this is kind of stepped to go with the bumper. So I'm trying to manipulate it enough to where I can make this have a bend on this side to follow this, but then I'll probably make it come out, and I'll just cut it with the rounded part, make it follow the bumper.
Let's see what it looks like.
The good part about working at a shop like this, you can do just about anything. Just whatever you think up and create, you can do it on this piece of metal. All right, now we have all the pieces made. They're all tacked in place. We have the shape to take out that big area we had right there on the body. Kind of makes it flow with the truck now. And then we can pull the whole bumper off, weld it out, and put it back on. Next thing we're gonna do is make a license plate box. It's gonna serve 2 purposes. It's gonna hold the license plate, and if he ever tows, take the license plate off of it, and his receiver hitch is right here behind it. I do this, but if you ever want to tow something, it kind of disappears when the license plate's on it. If you ever do need to tow something, take the license plate off, put your receiver hitch in, pull it, whenever you get done, put the license plate back on, and it kind of hides all the receiver hitch, all that. Now, cut the excess off, then I'll put it back up and weld it on finally. We can weld it up here, all the way around, and then come back with a big flat pad and just go down it until we work it down where there's no more weld. It carries the same body lines, but you don't ever get into this hard edge, and it just looks like a more finished product.
Now that the metal work is done, The bumpers can get powder coated and then off to body and paint. Matt's all done waking up this LS with a Pro Charger. We made mounts to install the retractable steps, and phase 2 is complete. Now we're ready to send this truck back to Ronald once again.
Simpler than what it is now. Started off with a little shack, maybe like one wall full of parts. I was just answering phones, most basic stuff ever. And then as it grew and we started selling more parts, more phone calls, more customers, more builds, more appointments. And it's where we're at now. Growing up, I was kind of a tomboy. My dad didn't have any sons for a long time, and so he raised us like boys almost, to fend for ourselves, changing brakes, oil changes, stuff like that. So everything that my dad taught me, I brought here, plus the bagged world, the bagged scene. I learned a lot from Bill, and there's no one better to learn from but him. Working with nothing but guys. It's like having nothing but big brothers around. They're always joking, they're always playing, they give, a hard time, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. We're just one big family.
Real deal, Bill. What's up, Bill? What you up to?
How y'all doing today?
Good, man. Big bro in the neighborhood. Just sliding by to get some inspiration. You got something going on over here, man.
I always like when Slim and Raymond come by, but today, I can tell they're on a little mission to see which way the trail. They're in the right spot.
We've been sitting on the same fleet for a minute, man. This time we gotta blow their mind one more time, man. The Mac's still holding, but, we ready to do some more builds. Yeah. Just trying to find out what I'm gonna do next, man. Is it gonna be old school, new school, big truck, or you know what I'm saying? What? Like, get us some ideas.
Man, you already know we just always lifting something up, dropping something down, cutting something up.
What's up, Bill? Ready a little Suburban out?
You got a Suburban?
Yeah, man. You want to check it out?
Yeah.
What better time for Slim and Raymond to stop by and check out our latest build? We're just about to ship off phase 2 of Ronald's latest and greatest Suburban.
Whoa, man. Look at this, bro. That's an old school.
You thought it was a new one, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was a new one. That's the old 3-0. Nothing better not getting away with that, man.
Yeah, that thing's heavy.
That's for real. Yeah,
you don't ever see these going down the road.
Never, man. I ain't seen one in so long. I ain't never think about the old school bourbon. You would think outside the box and do something like this, huh? It's crazy.
Well, we're just finishing phase 2 of the build. What we did in phase 1, put it on the lift, ripped out all the old suspension.
You see, man, that's
nice 4 links front and rear with air, so it's fully adjustable too.
I know why I go up and down too.
Oh yeah, man.
That's nice. Come on.
Put some nice wheels, nice tires, and just to give it that mean look.
That's sick, man. That's nice.
Full interior redo.
Yeah, that's crazy. I love this here, man. This look like a Slum Thug car.
Give us something new.
It'll take Bill to make you want an old school 3-door bourbon, man.
I like the wheels on there. You see them wheels?
I love it, man. I love it, bro.
Yeah, we took off with it, and sure enough, came right back with it. He got bit by the bug and just, had to have more. So phase 2 was getting it back in the shop. We just molded in some cool bumpers for it just to finish off that mean, aggressive look. Weld it all up, grind it all down, paint it, color match it, and we just fully built the back one, just all out of 1/4-inch material too. So you had to worry about backing into something.
Nah, the bumpers look good.
Oh man, they look crazy.
Once we got the bumpers right, we had to make it a little easier to get in and out of it for him too, because
everybody ain't tired of Slum Thug.
Yeah, we had to hook him up and do a little something special for him.
Okay, let's see what you got
Let's see what's going on over here.
Right?
Look at that. Still like on a new bourbon.
Right?
Yeah, man. Looks
right.
And it was here too.
Yeah, it's all tucked up. You don't even see it. So
that's dope, man.
His last problem was the car looks so good on the outside, looks good underneath, looks good inside.
Okay.
But man, everywhere you go, people ask, "Hey, what's under the hood?" You'd be like, "Oh, none." He couldn't really show it off. So we hooked him up there.
Let's see what you got going under the hood. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Look at him, man. You see that there, man? What you trying to do? Race it or what? Yeah, what you doing? Oh, man, that's
wasn't expecting that now, right?
No.
You know, so what we did, just a straight pull out, LS out of a truck. It wasn't anything to show off.
That's a pro charger?
Yeah.
Trying to race it, and they put a pro charge on the bourbon. On the bourbon.
You know, smooth all the core support, smooth the firewall, and finish it off with pro charge. Give him some power too.
Yeah.
He's got a complete package now.
It looks good, man.
Right.
Real good. Well, Bill, you know we came through here for a little inspiration. I'm damn sure inspired, man. So yeah, me and my brother, we gotta find us an old school. Gotta find us one.
Man, let me know what y'all figure out.
Yes, sir.
You know where we're at.
You know we're gonna let you know real deal.
Me and Bill.
Yes, sir.
Slim, I can't, because you know we're ready. And Ronald, the truck's on its way to you. When you get tired of everything that we've done now, bring it on back. We'll truck, but it's definitely not a fun truck. We're gonna rip every bit of this totally out and just start over. We're gonna bring this thing into the 21st century.
Great Coyote. Should be putting a little over 7 after the tuning.
It's a big old motor in a small little place, man.
The side-by-side is great to get out and just have a good time with the family. It's time for an upgrade. I want to build an all-tube buggy. If this isn't a ground-up build, I don't know what it is.
Oh, look at my girl. Look at my girl.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Like seeing a new project roll through the doors, especially, you know, a cool Bronco rolls up, but popping out of the driver's seat.
The beast has landed. Bill.
Is Ted Nugent.
Are these the greatest trucks in the world?
They are, man. I'm a big fan of the Broncos for sure.
Original Bronco. It's an icon, man. And I've been Broncoing my whole life. I got my first one in 1970. I got a 66. I got a 73. I got a big Bill Strop fire-breathing 90. I've always had Broncos. I love my Broncos. But this one I've probably had for 30 years. My beloved 1974 Ford Bronco. This is my baby. What you guys do here are miracles of wrench dreams, and I can't wait for you to turn my beast into my dream.
What are you doing with this?
Well, I want it to always be an old Bronco. You know, the look, the history, the icon. I want it to be tough, dependable, highway and Baja. And I know you can do it. I've seen what you've done.
Absolutely.
Probably a lot more horsepower, a lot more torque.
I got something in mind for that.
I bet you got something in mind for horsepower and torque. Bottom line is I want performance and fun. I want...
Or has been all his life. He's had these things since these things were new. So he knows all about the Broncos, and he knows exactly what he wants. So power. Performance. Reliability is a given.
Number one.
So underneath this thing, we're just going to rip everything out and
I
just
think
start
so.
fresh.
Drive line and drive shafts, heavy duty stuff.
Everything 100%. Just bulletproof.
Yep. Well, I need a Baja capable suspension as if I was going to go race in an off-road race, which I did for about a dozen years.
What are you working with under here?
I know you pivot as I do on the heart of the beast. And here we have the heart of the beast. It's a beautiful 360 stroker that really performs well and delivers close to what I'm dreaming of.
Popping the hood on this thing, you see the engine that's in it. It's all right, but this is for Ted Nugent. It's got to have a lot of power. I think the best thing to do with this is just rip all this out. Every bit of wiring, the engine, the trans, and just start fresh.
Bill Strop would be proud.
This is going to be fun.
I know black trucks are cool as hell, but I've seen some of yours. Deep, dark bronze, copper, and all the accessories keep them black. How am I doing? I'm just a guitar player. That sounds pretty good.
That sounds real good. The bronze look on this thing with black accents.
That's my Freedom Eagle. This is my Freedom Eagle. I know this might not be preferable to some custom truck designers, but when you're all done, put my Eagle back on.
All right, you got it. So what do you got on the interior of this thing?
Well, you know, you and I share a dream on the exterior, and I'm sure we share that dream on the interior. The stock Bronco seats are awesome. The speakers are too big. The roll cage, you're going to have to extensifize for me. But I want you to recommend stuff every step of the way, because your trucks are the best I've ever seen.
Well, I already know what to do. We're going to rip every bit of this totally out and just start over. New gauges, new steering wheel, new everything. Something just comfortable.
I've had so much fun working on my trucks all these years, and I know these guys at Extensive, they love their work. This is their dream job, and this is my dream project. We have a dream, and we share it. Bring my beast to life, Bill.
You got it. You know, this old Bronco, it was built to be used. This thing is just meant to go out and conquer things. Every button on this thing, every handle, lever is built for a purpose. You know, just looking over this thing, seeing all the modifications, time is over. There's so many things we can build at the shop that just going to bring this thing into the 21st century and make something really, really, really cool for Ted. Before we start cutting up this Bronco, I really need to take it on a spin and really see what old Ted's working with. When I'm out on a test drive in the vehicle like this, you kind of feel how much power it has. You feel how it handles, how it just drives down the road. You just kind of see where all the improvements need to be. In this case, everything needs to be improved. This thing's a fun truck, but it's definitely not a fun truck. It was good in the past, but now it isn't cutting it. As you can see, didn't take much to get this thing stuck. We're gonna get it unstuck, get it back to the shop so we can cut this thing up. What do you think about the old Bronco? Pretty cool, huh?
That's real cool.
It might a little bit. You know, it definitely doesn't have the power that it needs.
Bill Carlton said some don't have power?
Yeah.
Only 9 out of 10 times.
Ted wants to get in this thing and drive it wherever, however.
Off-road, jump, whatever he wants.
He's going to abuse this thing. I want this thing to be able to go 100 miles an hour down the road and just jump over stuff, jump right back on the freeway, haul ass home.
So he drives just like you.
You know, I might have to drive it home and test it out a day or two, you know, just to make sure it's good for him before we give him back. Right? First thing we need to do is get it up on the lift so we can strip out all the old suspension. Everything's got to go. We'll build a super strong, bulletproof 4-link suspension, coilovers, front and rear, something that he can just launch this thing. Got a Stroker 360 in there. It looks nice, decent. It was real cool back in the 80s, but it's definitely not going to cut it now. Rip everything in here, all the wiring, everything 100% out of here. I'm going to put a brand new 5.0 with supercharger on.
This little thing with supercharger.
Right? Once we get all the suspension built, John and the guys over at Interior Shop can start building something old and put back in what's needed. As far as the exterior, of course I like black cars, but in this case, he picked a bronze copper color. Of course, we'll put our little spin on that to really get the color right on it.
We're getting rid of the Eagle, right?
Man, he was pretty set on having the Eagle on the hood, so I don't know if I can talk him out of that one. Ted's definitely made updates to this Bronco over the years. But we're going to tear all that out. The old suspension, drive shafts, shocks, you name it. So we can start all over again.
a bunch of stuff in here.
Bunch of everything bolted down.
What we'll do, I guess, is take the hood, flip it all the way back, and then pull everything out from the top. So we'll take everything, just fold it over on top of the motor, put it on a pallet, wrap it up, and then we'll get ready to put the Coyote in.
Jamie, watch your fingers, listen. All right, back up.
Let me see that, Bravo.
Let the truck down some, just a little bit. Now we have it out. We're gonna wrap it up with some plastic, put all the parts on this pallet. We'll ship that back to Ted. He's got 4 or 5 other Broncos. He liked this motor so much, he's gonna put in something else.
Buddy. Look what I got for you today. Great Coyote, a little supercharger on top. Should be putting a little over 7 after the tuning.
This thing's going to be a huge improvement to what we pulled out of that thing.
This is going to be 100% American flag waving rock and roll.
One down. Good?
Yeah, good so far. A big part of the custom world is creating custom details, even in places you don't always look.
It's a big old motor in a small little place, man. That thing fits in there.
Wake up this 74 Bronco, but we definitely can't leave its engine bay looking stock.
Basically, when you open this hood, it just looks squared. It was bed linered. It just looked like an old Bronco. So we're adding these panels in here. These two here to take up the sides. Now we're going to do the front panel that covers the radiator. Kind of made a rough template. This will give us a rough estimate of where we need to be. We'll cut this piece out of a piece of sheet metal. It's going to fit right on the truck the first time. You know, that's a good part about doing what we do is there's no real book on how to do it. Everybody has their own different way. So with this, it's just kind of free reign to do whatever you want, as long as it makes the engine bay look better. And when it's done and painted, it looks like a lot of thought went into that rather than just a bunch of scanning and print. What do you think, buddy? You got a cold-ass nose. You know, this is another example of like geometry in school, trying to read out of a book, wouldn't happen. Now, in the shop, whether it's a suspension, it's placing a bag, panels, we use it all the time. Hands-on geometry, I love. Trying to figure things out, trying to figure out angles, this and that. If I would have hands-on learned it like this, I would have been a straight A student. See how this engine bay starts, everything hidden. So when you open the hood, it makes all your attention go to this motor. We want to give him 100% effort on this engine bay. When you open it, it's just a wow factor.
John, help us grab his top off.
Ted's Bronco just isn't for show. So I have Tim and John building a custom lift that's going to give this Bronco a ton of travel and it's going to ride super smooth.
So in the back of this Bronco, we're doing a triangulated 4-link instead of just your traditional parallel 4-link with a panhard bar. And what we got is our lower arms starting out wide, coming in towards the frame, and the upper arms starting narrow and go wide towards the frame. And that's what keeps the rear end centered underneath this truck. In my honest opinion, this suspension design is way better for like off-roading or jumping stuff. If you jump off the ground or hit bumps or uneven roads, this thing stays centered as the axle does this. And that's what we want, because he is going to be off-roading this truck, so he has to have the best suspension articulation for it. Now we got a 4-link in place, exactly where we want our rear end. Cycle the suspension up and down. Articulates pretty good, Timmy. This thing's gonna drive really, really good.
So when this Bronco came in, it was originally leaf spring, where the leaf spring held the Bronco up. I need room for the coilover to go to here, up, and as you can see, we're gonna run into the body. So I'm gonna come in here where they've already notched it back for their shock. I'm gonna cut the body out of the way, and then we'll have room to mount the coilover however we want, to mount it properly without having to go around the body. This is the notch on the bottom. So we're going to continue this line back, flush with the back. I'm going to cut this. This will eventually move out to here. And we'll skim the middle back in. As you can see, this thin wall tubing definitely was not going to hold the truck up. So it's basically made for a shock, not for a coilover.
Off-roading's come a long way since this Bronco rolled off the lot in 1974. And while we're bringing the suspension in the 21st century, John and Brian are going to update the interior.
What's up, man?
What we got?
We got parts. We got a new project going on.
What we got today?
So, man, I'm thinking of the
heat shield?
AR heat shield. What I'm thinking is we take these and use these as armrests. And we can take these rail mounts and get these mounted to the door. Take this with the Picatinny rails in it and bolt it in place. And then
solid.
Yeah. And then down on the bottom of this door, just to break up that flatness. Yeah. Well, I'm thinking we just take out of some ABS plastic and make our own Picatinny rails. We just wrap the door panel over top of those, and this thing will come together pretty quick.
Let's get it. Got my piece of ABS here. What I'm fixing to start doing is I'm going to put this on this table saw. With this dado blade here, it'll cut us the right width that we need to start making our mock-up Picatinny mounts out of plastic. But now that I've got this panel all cut down to mimic the Picatinny rails, now I got to cut it into thinner strips so it carries the same design all the way through. Now that these are all cut, you notice these are square versus these are beveled over. And then we'll run them back through so we can bevel the edges to make it mimic perfect. See my bevels here? We are matching now. Our dado blade cuts these little lines in here. We got to get those out of there. We use this tucking tool. You just get them in there and push them, pop it loose.
These things are going to see where we want to put that at. We got everything cut, modified, ready to go. Get it marked out so we can get the holes drilled in. And then we'll take these rails here that Brian just finished up and get these on the bottom of the door. Get everything locked into place. Once it's all locked in, this panel will be ready to wrap and get it on the truck.
Busy as we are, I gotta make a little time to take the kids out to nature. You know, just clear my mind. Ted's been a huge part of the off-road community for many years, and working on this Bronco has made me think about something that I had in mind for quite a while. You know, it's no secret, I'm kind of hard on my vehicles. I hadn't found one yet that'll hold up 100% of the time when I'm driving. So, I'm going to start building my own.
I knew it. It's time for an upgrade.
That was fun.
Yeah. Are you going to build one of these?
Maybe. It crawls over stuff, but I know we can build something way, way bigger and better.
So does Mom know you want to go on one of these?
She don't even know everything. You know, I've been thinking about this project for quite some time. You know, after taking the kids out, this project I'm getting really, really excited about. The side-by-side game has just gotten unbelievably crazy. I mean, these things are 1,000cc, 170 plus horsepower right out of the box. It feels like you're, you know, in a slingshot. But still, those things are very limited. There's always a belt gonna break, ball joint gonna snap every time you take them out. I just want something totally one of a kind, unique, and indestructible. I got some big ideas, some big plans, and I got 4 really big things on the back of this record to get started with.
What is this? Those are some big tires,
right? Yeah, 58 inches tall, 24-inch rim.
Wow. Man, what are your plans with this thing?
You know, the side-by-side, but it's definitely limited, right? Well, with these, I want to build something that just pretty much limitless.
That's really scary coming from you. Right. Really scary. So you want to build a buggy from nothing.
We're going to build everything around these tires.
That's going to be fun.
Big shocks, big 4-link with big military axles, so I'll never have to worry about snapping axle or anything like that. All tube chassis and big Cummins diesel in this thing.
Oh,
so,
diesel?
Yeah, just over the top and just indestructible is what I want.
You found the limitations on your Baja truck. You found the limitations on your side-by-side. I know you're going to push this to the limitations.
Well, you know, you got to test everything out to see where those limits are, right?
So does your wife know about this?
You know, Keegan asked me the same thing. She ain't got to know everything. Right?
All right.
You know, most of the time, you're starting out with a car, a truck, lifted, lowered. You got a kind of idea of what your parameters are. On this specific build, we're starting out with tires. That's it. Pretty much all of this build is in my head. One of the first things when you're designing something like this, it totally depends on the wheelbase, the stance. You know, once you get the tires in place, once those proportions look good, first you get the floor built. You figure out where the engine's gonna be. You figure out where the seats are gonna be. Once that's established, then you start building the cage itself. Then you start building the front end around the engine. Then you start building the rear end around shocks. All that comes into play, and you can only establish that in stages. Once you establish all that, you can actually start cutting some metal and start building. We finished the custom 4-links on the Bronco. Now John and Tim are going to make rear shock towers.
Now, due to having a tall, long travel shock, we have to go higher with the shock mount. So we had to build this hoop that's going to get welded to the frame and raised up about a good 10 inches higher, so the top of the shock come out way up in the truck, which is going to give us the distance we need from here to the axle to accommodate that long travel shock. I do about a ½ inch from the bottom. There. Now we got our shock tower in place. All we gotta do now is make our shock mounts to attach the shock from here down to the axle.
Are you done now?
I'm waiting on you. Now I got the shock in place, set up at right height. Now I just gotta add some reinforcements to the shock tower that are gonna go a little something like that and connect it down to the frame. Put me some reference lines up there, get them spaced right. Got cut on that line there. Not only is this gonna give this shock tower a whole lot more strength, but it also has the signature extensive aesthetic with this little step out here on the frame and then the tubing put it up to it. Now, if you see a style like this out on the road, you know this came from Extensive. Ted's gonna abuse the crap out of this Bronco, so he's gonna need some good coilover shocks to go with this heavy-duty suspension we're building on it. These ain't your ordinary shocks you go pick up at an auto parts shop. These are designed to take a beating. Anything he wants to drive it through, this shock will handle. We're gonna mock up one of the shocks without the spring. Long travel suspension means that your suspension will articulate a lot more than what a stock suspension would. And in this case, you got 12 inches of suspension travel on this truck. Wish I had 4 of them for my truck. Then I'd paint it and wash it.
Nice. All right, so we got our new foams for Ted's Bronco. These have been modified a little bit. They've got these bolsters made into them to help hold him in the seat a little better. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna take our foams. We're gonna start drawing out our patterns on this so we can get it all figured out and get everything to size. That way we can take that and transfer that from our foam into our material. Then we'll have something to sew together. I'm just transferring my patterns into this chipboard here for my insert. We'll cut this out. So what I'll do is I'll just use these pieces to get everything lined out and drawn out on top of my vinyl. All right, got it all drawn up. Everything's laid out. See what I'm gonna do? Sit down and start sewing. Put some thread in this material. Pretty intricate on this because your last stitch will land exactly on the point where you want to turn. Because if you're off on your turn just a little bit, it won't line up with the next line. Then your whole pattern gets off. That's done. Now all we gotta do is cut it out. All right, that's one piece of one part to the many parts we have to make. So I'm gonna get started on this. We'll get everything transferred on the rest and get them all cut out and start sewing them together.
With the new Coyote custom shocks, suspension, it's really important to keep the Bronco running straight. And John's working on that right now.
Now that we're done with the suspension, all we got to do is add the steering shocks to stabilize the steering. With these big wheels and tires, you need some kind of absorption to absorb all the shock that the tires are going to be going through. So we're going to put two of these in line as so, and these are going to take all the shock out of the steering. So I got my mounts cut out, and these are going to be placed here, centered with the differential. Now we're going to mount two shocks here, one going this way, one going that way, fixed to the steering. Now we got the shock mount in, shocks mounted, everything's in line. Now all we got to do is make the last final two tabs on each end. We're going to bolt these up to the end of the shock, 21 3/4. That's what we want. We'll tack that, and we'll steer it to the right, tack that side. Now we got the steering shocks on. As you can see, it steers left and right. It's gonna make for a smoother ride while Ted's taking this thing off-roading.
Now that John's finished up with the steering on the Bronco,
ready to get this body off?
It's time to blow apart the frame and suspension.
We're gonna get this frame moved out of the way, get another dolly in here to set the body on, and get the body over to the body shop. Now that we got the chassis out from underneath the body, we got the shocks off out of the way, it's time to finish welding everything out since everything's just tacked in place for now. Get that all welded out, get the engine off, and then this will get sent off powder coat.
You know, I've never built before. I want to build an all-tube buggy. Of course, with any project, you want something, you know, pretty much indestructible. You got to start out with some indestructible parts. So I'm going to meet up with a friend of mine, Charlie. He's got some military trucks in his property, so we're going to dig around, see what we can come up with to really get this project started.
What up, Charlie?
What's going on, Bill?
Man, I need your help. You know, I want to build a buggy, just something I can take anywhere and do anything with, just something totally indestructible. And I know you got those military trucks back there. What better axles to use than those big old deuce and a half?
I got them hid back there in the bushes. It's growed up pretty good, but we're going to have to get past the guard donkey.
You got a guard donkey?
I carry carrots, so they don't bite you. Me and Bill go way back. We've been friends for about 25 years. They called me. I had a tow truck at the time. I went out there and he had a truck, the airbag blowed out of it.
Man, you really do have a donkey.
Got it up on the truck, got it hauled to the shop, dropped off without any damage to it. We've been friends ever since. Here's a carrot. You're going to have to become his friend before the day is up.
Come here, buddy.
I got a donkey because the donkey is loud. You can pet him, it's barking all the time, but when you hear my donkey holler, you know somebody's in the yard.
Man, he don't look too bad, Charlie. So all you need to do is bring some carrots and I can have whatever I want, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. Where are these axles at?
Back here in the back.
Charlie, you got crap everywhere.
I got a hoarding disorder.
Yeah. That's a totally different show.
This place, been here about 20 years. I collect a little bit of everything. I got boats, jet skis, front end loaders, fuel tank, Volkswagens, Jeeps.
What are you gonna do with this?
Thinking about making a restaurant out of it one day. Well, you know, I might make a hunting cabin. The houseboat, I was gonna take it out to my place on the lake. but the community rules didn't like the idea of me bringing it up here and making a cabin out of it. So that's as far as it's gotten. Well, here she is.
That's exactly what I need, Charlie. What, he's 2.5 tons?
Yes, sir.
You got a tree growing through this thing. How long has this been back here?
Well, we count the rings on that tree. He'd tell you how long it's been sitting there.
Well, this is it, man. You know, I can't haul this thing.
No, I'll get the loader and drag it out.
Man, I know you're going to give me a good deal on these things.
I'll figure out something for you to trade out on. You might have to get some carriage from a donkey.
All right. Since these been operational, so we'll need to fix them up. But these axles are exactly what I need for my buggy. If this isn't a ground up build, I don't know what it is. So far, we have axles and tires for my off-road buggy. Because we're building this from scratch, sourcing the right parts is even more important. And the list, it just keeps growing.
What's up, boss?
What's up, man? Need some parts.
For your buggy? Need a lot of parts.
Got the diesel engine.
Diesel?
Diesel family. Bring the engine. Bring the trans. We got tires. We need column, steering wheel, seats. Because all of the builds in my head, each part we get just kind of influences the next one. We need wheels. We need big wheels. Gotta have to make them.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have somebody make those.
Yeah. Shocks. We need big shocks.
So like some big 2.5 or a 3 with a big remote reservoir.
Correct.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, you already know. Once we get all the parts, we can go to the next phase of design and start building something we've never built here at the shop before. And we'll get there. I promise you that.
I think that's a manageable list. I think I can knock that out pretty quick.
With this being a personal build and us being as busy as we are, it's going to be slow and steady. You know, I finally want something that will hold up to my driving.
That's a tall order, but
right?
That's what we got to do then.
That's what we're doing.
Right on. I'm with it.
We're doing it.
It's going to be awesome.
While the body guys are finishing up on the 74 Bronco, John's getting that much closer to buttoning up that custom interior.
Got the panels all ready to wrap, and cool idea just turned into a pain in the butt idea.
Let's build Picatinny rails. You know, wrap them in vinyl. I'm gonna start questioning from now on what these great ideas are.
Working on these door panels, they've been a real pain to get these details, but that's kind of what we do around here, you know. We make it different, try to outdo ourselves. You know, I've never made a Picatinny rail before, much less tried to wrap one. Anybody else? Just like that, the door panel for the Bronco is finished. So all of our time so far has just been spent making pieces and patterns and panels and all that good stuff. So now all we're gonna do is sit down here and put it all together. Wanted to personalize these a little bit for Ted. Had the embroidery shop embroider his logo directly onto it. It's gonna look pretty cool on top of the seat. All right, that's the last pieces of the covers for Ted's truck. Test fit these, just make sure they fit just right. The logo turned out really nice up here. Gives it a nice personal touch. Everything worked out good. The lines are nice and neat and straight. Get this thing buttoned up. We'll get them in the truck and we'll be just about done.
Ted said he wanted stray away from the black. He wanted some color this time. And he said he wanted some, you know, like a bronzy kind of coppery color. So I'm looking through little color chips to kind of see what would look cool. I'm definitely feeling the copper color, but finding that right one is always difficult. We're getting close, or I think that right there, I think that's it right there. The perfect color for Ted's Bronco. Every color kind of plays upon the wheels, tires, the stance. You know, when it's picking color for myself, nothing to it. Hey, I like that color. But when you're picking a color for someone else, especially Ted Nugent, you want to make sure it's right for sure. All the metal fabrication, all the interior, all the wheels, tires, suspension, all that is void if the color isn't right. So this is a crucial stage in any build. I think probably a black roof along with glossy black suspension, maybe color match bead locks on the wheels. That is just totally made for not only a huge transformation, but just something that just looks mean, and Ted's going to be happy to be seen in this. Ted said he wanted to transform this Bronco into a beast. And seeing the rolling chassis come together, new wheels, tires.
Too much, right there.
You know, I don't think you could call it anything else except a beast.
There is a Bronco cult, and I may be the czar of the Bronco cult. I'm not just the Motor City madman because someone thought I was. I really am. I was born in Detroit in '48, and you add the horsepower Detroit guy to a bow hunting outdoor maniac like me, and by the time I got my first Bronco in 1970, I thought I was like Mickey Thompson and Bill Stropp and Parnelli Jones at the Baja. Even though I was only in a swamp in the Michigan woods, those off-road races were the research and development of what we now enjoy, even with the brand new Broncos coming out. There's Bronco Dreams, and then there's Texas Metal Extensive Bronco Dreams. I can't wait to get behind the wheel and just go nuts.
74 Bronco. But before we give it back, I want to surprise Ted with one more detail that I know he'll love.
That's a whole lot better place than the hood. That's pretty cool. Freedom Eagle.
We've been working on this Bronco for him for quite some time. It's a huge journey, a lot of work. And today is the day we find out how good we did. If we did all right, or if it's Ted Nugent approved.
Bill, good to see you.
Man, good to see you, man. Good to see you.
I can't wait to see what you've done to my girl. I have these big dreams.
You know, I'd be lying if I say I'm not nervous right now about what you think about your truck, because I know you have such extensive history
yes.
with Broncos, and I know you know every nut and bolt on a Bronco.
I do, yeah. I might know the history of Broncos, but I'm looking forward to the future of the extensive Bronco, because I have a funny feeling that this is unprecedented. And if you would please bring me my girl ASAP before I go nuts.
I'm ready to show you this. We've been all working hard.
Begin.
Let's check it out.
Oh, look at my girl. Look at my girl.
Bill, you're my man. You're my Bronco daddy. All praise the mighty Bronco.
This is a dream come true, Bill. And thank you so much. This is exactly what I envisioned. Say hallelujah, Bronco cult everywhere. It sounds beautiful. It looks beautiful. It smells beautiful. Wow. Congratulations, gentlemen. You're my Bronco czars. I'm glad you don't play guitar. I'd have to quit. You pushed my limits. You beat the living out of me, man. This is, I just love this.
His reaction totally sealed the deal. We know we did a good job. First thing, you know, it was a nice truck, but we had to get it up on the lift and just rip everything out.
Yep.
Everything is 100% brand new.
The long foiling bars, extended travel coilover shocks, so you can take this thing through anything and ride comfortably.
Michigan swamps haven't got a prayer. I see it all. The custom bumpers, the lights, the roof rack is just unbelievable. With all their unique, creative, original classic Bronco image, but you fortified and augmented it. It's Bronco art. It's got that burnt orange copper bronze thing going on. And you even got the matching bronze on the axles and the pigs.
With the black suspension, black frame. You want a little color down underneath there, right?
This color combination is absolutely perfect. And the word perfect is so rare nowadays.
Ted, I know you're going to be spending a lot of time in it.
I will.
Check this out.
Let's check it out. Oh, boy. Look at this. Are you kidding me? Look at my new home on wheels. How beautiful is that?
We couldn't leave well enough alone, right? So we just ripped everything down to the sheet metal, upgraded everything, the seats, the headliner, the door panels. We just had to incorporate.
Great touch, man. Those look like Nugentized door panels to me. Perfect. The more you can Nugentize, the better life you have. You've really checked off all the boxes. This is going to be my daily driver. It's not a show truck, but it's a go truck that happens to be a show truck. And I'm not going to treat it too tenderly. I will respect your artistry, but she's going to be a workhorse.
I know you had to keep the Eagle. We had to keep the Eagle.
Had to keep the Eagle.
But, we kept it. And it's here with it. You can touch it at all times.
You made a great decision, man. Thank you so much.
Well, if you like this, wait till you see Under the Hood.
I can't wait to see Under the Hood. I love Under the Hood. It's all awesome, but I have a funny feeling this is going to be my favorite.
Me too.
Oh, my God. I don't think that's legal in Detroit. That is so beautiful. Look at that.
The engine that came in here, it was all right.
That's nice.
Nothing compared to the new Coyote, especially with the supercharger on. Max tune, you're probably about 7.
That'll do.
Pushing a little over 7.
That'll do. That'll get me where I'm going. To get this beast in an old Bronco, congratulations. You
One
guys
thing we wanted to do for you was leave everything you need accessible.
Right.
But everything else is all under the panels, so you don't see none of that. Out of sight, out of
It's
mind.
an engineering masterpiece. Again, this is the way everybody should do it. That engine compartment is so clean and so efficient. What he does to the engine bay, it's literally artwork. I had visions and outrageous ideas, but you guys actually kicked my ass. I'm going to go to these old Bronco rallies, and the rest of the Broncos are going to part like the Red Sea.
Well, let's go for a ride.
Let's go for a ride. I'm driving.
All right. We all put 100% old truck. It's a huge honor for myself and my team to put our skills, our passion, and our just love for what we do into a project like this. Watch the car shows, the truck drives by, I want to see people go, dang, look at that right there. We got to go a little bit bigger than I was originally anticipating.
This thing is a beast.
A few months back, Old Blue Thunder was just a shell of a vehicle. There's a lot of work involved to bring it up to 2021 standards.
We want to make sure that this thing still has that classy look, that classy feel to it.
This is not like anything we've ever built before.
That is way bigger than I thought you guys were going to build it.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Foot a little heavy getting out of the truck there?
Got to test out the new tires, straight from the dealership. You got to break them in.
So, man, you finally found one, huh?
Yeah.
I know you've been looking for a minute trying to get one.
These aren't easy to find these days, for sure. It's time for a new shop vehicle. Man, it feels like we go through one every couple years. I need something that will pull a new trailer that will haul multiple cars at once. The F450 is the perfect platform for what we do around here.
Man, this thing is a 2021 F450 King Ranch. what could you possibly want to do to it? Like, what's wrong with it?
Man, it's a really, really nice truck, but I can't be riding around stock like this. I can't do it. Customization is in my blood. This is what we live and breathe every day. I cringe when I'm driving down the road in a stock vehicle. I mean, that's not me. So I'm thinking, it needs a couple of little small upgrades. Just a real small, super small lift, and maybe just a little upgraded tires. A little bit bigger, a little bit wider, nothing crazy.
Bill Carlton that I know was never happy with 19.5s. In 2000, you had to get semi-wheels and turn them down. And you had to get the Hummer and put the biggest wheel on it. Then your lifted truck had the biggest 30x16s. And this one we're going to do just a little bit bigger?
Just a little. We're way too busy to build a bunch of crazy stuff on it. So just a little bit higher, a little bit nicer wheel and tire, just a little bit taller, a little wider.
So the biggest wheel and tire possible.
Man, just a little bit bigger.
I'll make sure we're on the same page here, and you are hearing what you're saying. You want to do a little lift and a little upgrade on wheel and tires.
That's it.
Okay. I'll go ahead and open the bay door, and we'll get in the air. We'll get ready. We may have to put on the bigger bay, because I know it may not fit out that door after the big lift and wheels and tires. I'm going to open the door.
I've been a fan of the F-Series trucks for quite some time. As soon as the new 2021 came out, I definitely had my eye on it. As much as I like these trucks, there's always something that just sticks out in your head that you don't like about it. So, that's what I want to do. Just get it in the shop and put my custom touches on it. And just when I buy a car, that's the first thing I want to do is just tearing it all out and just starting over. Just see what we can do to make it cool, make it stand out, make it different. And really, that's what Extensive is all about, making a bone stock car cool. I mean, even something that's been customized before, it doesn't matter. We're going to make it cooler. I'm going to be driving this truck on a almost daily basis back and forth to work. So I'm excited to get in the two-post lift and start tearing this apart and start creating something cool. You get it up here, Timmy.
I'm just wondering why you wanted it this high.
What do you think? That's not a good ride height?
It wouldn't surprise me one bit how high you want to go.
No. Man, after looking it over, I'm going to say it this one time. This time, you're right, Timmy. You're right. We got to go a little bit bigger than I was originally anticipating. A little bit. I mean, this represents everybody here. Not only am I going to drive it a lot, but we're going to use it for the shop. We're going to go to shows, and I want to get a 2-car trailer to put behind it, load some cars up on it, have a nice-looking caravan going down the road. We're well represented. Yeah. A little bit bigger wheel than I was originally anticipating. So 28-inch wheel, and the tires maybe a little bit bigger too, like 40s.
He said I'm going a little bit bigger tire, a little bit bigger wheel.
Yeah. And then we got to be able to clear the 40s, so it's got to be at least 3 feet off the ground, right? And I want to switch up a little bit too and put coilovers on it this time. Coilovers on the front, nice shock hoop and everything, but on the back, we can't have a coilover and haul a 2-car trailer, right? So a big airbag on the back, big 4-link front and rear, so we can totally adjust it depending on the weight. So we can haul whatever we want and not have any issues. Right. And we got to make it look good while we're going there too. So I want to take all the chrome off, paint the grill, all color match, all black, and just make this thing look mean coming down the road. And I want to put a rolling lock bed cover on it too, just so we can lock up all our stuff in it and just not have to worry about nothing. Just use it, man. We'll have a good time with it. So, y'all ready to do it?
Let's do it.
We got a brand new King Ranch in. We're gonna go ahead and start getting this took apart. We can make it a whole lot cooler. One shot, brand new. I think this truck only has like 46 miles on it. It's the kind of shop we are, I guess. All we got left is the drive shaft. I'm gonna remove that. Hey Tim, would you give me a hand? Alright, it's gonna go get powder coated. Not gonna try and lower this by myself. I'm gonna call Mr. Muscle over. Thanks, Muscle Man.
All right, we got the truck all disconnected from the axles, got rid of all the leaf springs, the multiple measurements to figure out the ride height, where I want the truck to sit. The axles are located at the right height, so the next step is building the 4-link placement. Everything is going to depend on the drop down on the frame itself of where the play happy. So it's really critical of placement of all the pivot points. So I got to locate where the pivot points are. Once those are located on the template, all I have to do is get back and draw whatever looks cool. I got my pivot points located in the template itself. Got a real rough idea how I want the shape in metal. The drop down itself is going to be really a focal point to look at. So you really want that to look cool. I think what I'm going to do is bring it over to the table, then I can really lay it out and really get a feel for design. You know, I just want to come up with something that's different. You know, I hate doing the same thing over and over and over. So that's definitely not what we're going to do on this. We're going to do something that's unique, creative. That's what I want. I want something, when the truck drives by, people go, dang, look at that right there. And this being a major focal point on parts, this has got to look good. The major shape, the major measurements are all in place. So I'm going to transfer this over to some metal. So I'm going to give this to Jesse. Buddy, you already know.
Yep.
At a 1/4 inch. This is the main thing right here. It's 3/4 hole, 3/4 hole. And the rest, this just make it straight here.
All right, I'll get right on it. All right, so Bill brought me the drawings for the hangers. So now what I'm gonna do now is just grab all the measurements, just put them on my trusty computer, and get it ready to go on the plasma table. But now the only thing is, these are a whole lot longer, because usually the ones we build usually are like half the length. So these are like double the length. This actually backs up perfectly, so the machine did its job. So now what I'm gonna do, just clean them up real quick. Find the center of these circles right here. I'm gonna mark my hose, punch them. I gotta clean that one off real quick. So I got these all cleaned up, punched up. As you can see, these hangers are big, bigger than normal size, but it's for Bill's shop truck, and you already know, whatever Bill does is never small. So let me walk this over to him to see how that truck turns out.
You know, lifting up the 450 is part one of my new idea for the shop trucks all around the country. And for that, we need a custom trailer. And luckily, I know just the guy to help. What's up, Brian?
Hey, man. What's going on? How you doing?
Man, real good, real good.
What's going on in your world? What are you in there for?
Well, I got a new shop truck.
Okay.
And it's got a little lift on it.
They all have a little lift on it. What are we talking a little lift here?
Well, it's a little higher than normal.
Come on, let's go in the back here and draw it up.
So, Robert, what I need is a bumper pull.
Right.
And I want the ability of hauling 2 cars at once, and I don't want to be limited to the weight I can carry. My big 5500, which is 16,000 pounds, and and Tim's truck itself is over 10,000. Plus, whatever else I fit on the trailers. Okay. At least 30,000 pounds.
I think we got the perfect trailer for you. What we can do is we can take one of our basic VT trailers here. We can modify the front to where we'll put a 1-inch plate here at the height we need, so that you won't have a big drop coming off the truck.
Right, yeah, that's what I don't want, is the big drop coming down, having to support it, and have to worry about stopping and starting.
We'll put all of that on the trailer itself. This one shows fold-over ramps. We're going to do pull-out ramps. make it easier for you to get up on there.
Right.
These are typically your tensions. That should give you more than enough capacity for anything that you're trying to do. We're going to go with 17.5 tires, dual wheel. You will not have wheel and tire issues. I promise you that.
Big axles, big tires, super long.
This thing is going to be massive. With all the specs and things that Bill's telling me, this is probably going to be one of the largest open-air bumper pull trailers that we've ever built.
That sounds like it. That's what I need.
All right, let's do it.
Now that we figured out the hangers, Tim and Dave are making room for the huge drop down by smoothing everything out.
What do you think, Timmy?
That's a big bracket.
It's a huge bracket that holds a lot of weight, right?
Plus, with all this boxed, it's going to be even stronger.
Oh, yeah. What we'll do, we got the two outer pieces on. Let's get the two inner pieces on, and we'll start boxing that in. That's the next step.
Because we're going to be hauling a lot of weight with the F450, the rear suspension has to be extra heavy duty. We're going to make the 4 links out of 5/16 DOM tubing.
And then we're going to build our 4-link bars. So it's literally bulletproof. Lower, twist it. All right, 58 and 3/8. This is going to let us transfer all the power from the truck all the way down to the axle, and it all comes right through the 4-link bars themselves. So that's a major component of the suspension and transferring all the power to the truck, to the road, and to be able to handle everything that's behind this truck as far as stopping and starting. All of that weight gets transferred right here onto these bracketry all the way up to the truck itself.
We're making the rear link bars. These are the, looks like the lower. I seen I made the lines when I was cutting with the saw, so I know this is as far as I can go to get my measurement for the coping. But as long as I go to there, I'm good.
It's pretty cool. We can make these quick little fixtures, quick little jigs, to make them consistent. Not only that, when we're building it, but after we tear this apart, get it powder coated, we use that same jig to put it all back together, and it all goes right back in nice and straight. You don't have to, you already know it because the fixture's already here. Get it all square first. So it's a really critical stage of the build process is getting everything 100% square. We want the truck going down the road with the trailer going perfectly straight. Ready?
Yeah.
That is absolutely perfect. Timmy.
Yes, sir.
Man, the 046 Ford. It's endless, right?
It's always the small details that take the longest, and we ain't started none of those yet.
Right.
A few months back, Old Blue Thunder was just a shell of a vehicle. In a few more months, it'd be a badass surprise from my fellow Northsider, Ryan and his dad. We gotta hook him up. We gotta get it done.
Yeah, you're true on that. We need to get something good for him.
Good thing. We got a lot of stuff out of the way. We got a lot of stuff checked off our list. We got the frame complete. We got the rear suspension done. We got the engine mounted. Got rid of the old Chevy engine. Got a new late model 5.0 Coyote in it. We've done a lot of work to it, but we got a long way to go still. Next up on the list is all new floor. There's no reason to even try to save it. Let's just cut it all to the rear bumper. Front suspension. There's nothing in the interior, which is good. We don't have to tear anything out anymore. Bad for John. John's got to make everything. But, the good thing about it, we can make it how we want it and make it cool. There's a lot of work involved there to bring it up to 2021 standards.
So where do you want to start?
Well, let's just get out and get after it. We'll get the floors done, get the front suspension done, then we can pull the front end off, do the firewall.
All right, well, I'll get with Max and get the column, the gauges, the AC, make sure we have everything here, and if not, we need to get it here, because right now, shipping is crazy. You think 2 days and take 2 months.
When it came back from media blast, the Ford was in really, really rough shape. The body guys can fix some of it, but the floors are just beyond fixing. So we cut them all out and just started totally fresh.
So now I got the old floor cut out. Next step is go ahead and start breaking my new metal for the transition. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut this out and continue on making the drive shaft tunnel. Okay, so I got my 2 filler pieces in. Next step is go ahead and make this piece tunnel. As you can see, all these little lines right here, I'm breaking it. It's starting to roll. So if I do enough of these lines on both sides of the center, it's going to have a nice radius of the transmission. Everything's looking good right here. So now it's time to go ahead and make my drive shaft tunnel fit to my transmission tunnel. It's nice to be able to do it in one piece. There's no breaks in it, so it's going to be one nice smooth line. It's going to go right to my transmission tunnel. Everything is really just coming together on this car. There you go, man. Heck yeah. This is pretty much the only piece of the original floor left. Everything else has been made new.
Alright. Looking good, man, compared to what it was, right? Full of rust and full of holes, and
this wasn't safe.
Full of crap. Yeah. This puts us about midway point as far as they'll take the body off and get busy.
That sounds good.
To save some time, we're going to work on the front and the back at the same time for the coupe. So our new fabricator, John, is making the notch cover. We've heard about John for a while. We know about his skill set. And as busy as we are right now, it's good to have him on the team.
So now we got the notch in, and it all fits nice. We're going to go ahead and tack it in place, and we're going to join the back of the car to the front of the car and fill a little bit around the notch and be done with the floors in this car.
Finally got the body in the 46 Ford Coupe in good enough shape. So now John can make the new door panels.
All right, I've got all my pieces made, got them together. So the next thing I'm gonna do is actually get in the car. I want to start getting them in place and getting it laid out and getting all the structure there. Once that's all in place, we'll start mudding it together. We're gonna do it in the car. That way you can see the door has a little bit of a curve to it. So if we body work this in place, it's gonna help hold that curve. That way the panel won't flex and go flat. We can go body work it over on the table and get it finished up over in the shop. So this is our insert, and what we're going to do, take this TIG rod and I'm going to bend it around my insert just to create some body insert, and I'm going to scribe it out and just creating some layout lines so I know where to put my rods at. I'm going to use my insert as my jig to bend it. Alright. That's going to be our layout right there. Everything's got a good line to it, so grab some glue, lock these down. Bill wants to keep the feel and style of an old hot rod, just to keep it nice and clean and give it some elegant touch to it without going too far overboard.
Kind of got that 50s diner look. We should be in roller skates and doing this. Just roll around.
All right, so we'll let that do its thing. Once it's dry, we'll start with the body work. Time to sling a little mud. Just want to use our wire as our guide. Get a nice contour in here. Now we're just taking our paper and sanding our contour into this. What I'm doing is I'm only putting the bevel on one side of the wire. That way it just kind of steps up and down. It looks like layers in the panel. All right, so we got everything body worked in. Lines are nice and straight, everything looks good. These two inserts are going to have the accent color on them, and with this panel being wrapped in the base color of the car, and it fits right into the door. Magic.
F450, we're going to go air on the rear and coilovers in the front. With that kind of setup, the rear airbags will be extra strong and be able to handle whatever we want to haul. While the coilovers in the front give us just that different look for this go around.
So first thing is go ahead and start putting the coilovers in is making them mount right here. This is going to be the base of the coilover right here. Then we'll bring it all the way up. I'm going to make a nice little radius across here, a couple bends, and this is where I'll attach the top of my coilover. So first thing is go ahead and get started making those mounts. Some people might buckle under the pressure of, you know, building some custom, especially some custom for Bill Carlton, because, you know, he's Bill Carlton. He's been doing this for a long time. Me, I've worked side by side with Bill for years. I built them all the same. Safety first, you know, quality. Everything has to be strong, sturdy, and built to last. So, you know, that's why I'm there, because not only will we be hauling a lot of weight, I mean, it's a reflection of us, the shop, and I'm building it, so I want to do the best to my ability. That's the bottom wrapped up. Now go ahead and move on to the top. I like the way it looks now.
You know, Jamie did a real good job getting our top loop in and our bottom coilover bracket. It's going to be a little different from what we normally do. You know, normally it's coilovers front and back, or bags front and back. This was a little different. I want coilovers on the front just because I want to do a different look this year. But, you know, I'm going to be hauling a lot of weight. We're all going to be hauling a lot of weight. This is going to be pretty much, you know, a shop truck. So we definitely can't haul a lot of weight with coilovers. So we're going to do bags on the back, coilovers in the front, just kind of mix it up a little bit. The thing I'm trying to do now, the challenge is we got a bunch of tube work in the back for the bags that come down to the bag. Now this is just total opposite, where the coilover is going to be mounted up high. So all the pipe work has to go up in the front and all down in the back. So we're going to try to do our best. Man, that's what it needs, is some three-dimensional more.
Yeah, bring it out. Definitely give it that style we're looking for.
So let's bend this same radius, probably right about here.
All right, I guess we can start bending.
That'll work. Just looking at it, it looks like some bent pipes. We just cut the ends off, put up there, but that's definitely not the case. It is very labor intensive to notch, bevel, cut, grind, do that 20 times in some cases just to make the pipe fit just right. And once you weld over it, it just looks super easy then, but it's definitely not that easy. See, it looks like somebody looking through binoculars.
I don't know what it looks like. I like the way it looks. It looks good. Nice.
You know, I got a call from Robert saying the F450 trailer is ready for pickup. You know, it's usually midday. I'm that customer, and I'm excited. Robert, what's happening, man?
How you doing, man?
Man,
doing all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You ready to pick that thing up?
I'm definitely ready to check it out, and I'm ready to put it to work.
We're all excited about this trailer. This is the biggest thing we've ever built here. So we can't wait to see what you're going to load on it.
Let's go check it out.
Let's go check it out. Man, I think you're going to be excited about this. This thing is a beast.
Man!
All right, what do you think about this? This is what we talked about.
Man! This is exactly what I need. This is badass.
This is not like anything we've ever built before.
This is really going to help me and the shop out. You can't haul the cars that we have on a normal trailer. It has to be custom built like this.
Check out this hitch that we put on the front of it. 1 inch thick plate.
What?
No ball. We're going to put a Penalai on the front of this.
What? I've never had one of those like that. It's crazy looking.
For the kind of weight that you're hauling, you got to have it. We've got multiple adjustment holes where we can raise it up to the height that you need with that big truck.
No matter if it's high, low, whatever weight you got on it,
we'll be able to raise it. We've got hydraulic that you're going to put on this thing. You're not going to have any issues as far as raising this thing up and down.
I hate trying to. I can't.
You will never have that issue again, and it will pick up anything that you've got on there. This will handle it.
Man, this is cool. This is cool.
We have changed out all of the axles. You have got 15,000 pounds on each axle.
What?
17 5-wheel and tire assemblies. You are not going to have an issue on this.
This is way more than I was thinking in my head. I'm impressed.
Good. That's what we do. Look at the length of this. 40 foot.
Super long.
40 foot, dove on the end for easy loading.
We can haul 2 cars on this, no matter what they are. I want to be able to go anywhere I want to go and haul anything I want to on it.
This will handle it.
Thank you.
This is the first for us. I think you'll enjoy it.
Thank you, man. I knew you were going to hook me up.
Once you get it hooked up, put the trucks on it, send some pictures. I can't wait to see it.
I'm going to do that, man. Thank you, Robert. You know, the 21 F450 is going to perform double duties for us. It needs to haul our show trucks to car shows while looking good doing it. You know, we got the lower bag mounts done. We got the upper bag mounts all tied in. You know, it isn't as strong as we need. So it's all about adding a lot more bars, a lot more strength, and a lot more style. You know, the key to making it super strong is the intersections of all the piping, all the joints where they intersect with one another. And one transfers the weight down to another joint, transfers the weight to somewhere else. So just like kind of like a truss system where you have the little zigzags and they all intersect at certain points. And that's basically what we're building here on the suspension itself, is using the pipes not only for style, but it's also meant to be super strong. You know, in a process like this, you know, there comes a time where you know it's done, it feels right, looks right. That's exactly what this does. Now it's time to blow it apart and get it off to powder coat. The 46 Coupe is one of those really iconic cars. So we're going to add modern features and still keep that custom classic design. So John is hiding the subwoofer in a fully custom built suitcase.
One of the things we have to do with this 46 Ford is we want to make sure that this thing still has that classy look, that classy feel to it. So how to do it is going to be to disguise it. So I've already built the subwoofer enclosure to look just like a suitcase. Things got all the detail sanding done, looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with wrapping the center of this. You got to get down into the groove where it looks like it separates. And we'll work it up into each groove, top and bottom. And then from there, it'll be looking like a suitcase. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to take our vinyl here, get it all glued up. All right, set that to the side, glue up the enclosure. I'll use a paintbrush and get the glue all the way down in the crack. That way when I wrap it, it'll hold the vinyl in place. And boom goes the dynamite. All right, here we go. It's a moment of truth. Stick it and start wrapping. Just want to start by working this down into this groove here. Give a little stretch around that corner. Working around these corners is very difficult. You want to make sure that you work down into the bottom of this corner, because if you just stretch it across it and go around it, you won't be able to get down into the bottom and we'll lose this detail. So it's quite an adventure to get around this thing and get this thing wrapped, but in the end, I think it's going to be well worth it. It looks like a piece of luggage from the 1940s instead of a subwoofer from the 2000s. That is our suitcase. Let's get some belts on it. So this is just a piece of welt cord. We'll be taking this, wrapping it with our vinyl, and this is what gets tucked down into the groove around the suitcase. This is just going to help to mimic the seam on the suitcase where the tops and the edges come together. It's just a little creative detail in here. I'm going to trim it down so it's narrow enough, and we'll just wrap it around the box like a glove. Last thing to go on. Now, we'll put our woofer in it. All right. And no one's going to ever know that there's a speaker in this thing. This thing turned out great. Almost better than I imagined it, so get it in the car.
Like any big job, the 46 Coupe has a big checklist for all the stuff we got to get done. And this one is a really long list. While John and his team are making the custom interior, we're finishing up the front suspension.
You know, Old Blue Thunder's really come together. We got the frame done, got the body, getting busy, so how to build everything. So the next step, putting the wheel and tire underneath with the spindle, mocking up the lower control arms. Then we're really rolling with it, and we get this thing done. We're gonna call that ride height. It's good. It's the perfect distance this way, because we're gonna get a little bit of negative camber when we go up, so that'll clear even more and more, you know, with the radius. You'll see the angle of the lower ball joint real quick.
Let's go forward about an inch, 3/4 inch.
You know, there's a lot of variables when it comes to setting something like this up. There's no, this is wrong, this is right. You got to rely on the experience each and every single time, build upon the last experience. So that's where we're at right now, is the latest and greatest doing what we do. While the frame just needing a little bit of final welding and the cab in the body shop, I can finally see the end on this build. Next up, the last bits of metal work. Full interior, rolling chassis, paint, and we'll be able to surprise Ryan's dad with Blue Thunder looking a whole lot better than it did sitting in his garage. Sure, there's a couple of old timers that worked on this car when it was new. They had no With the 450 being so high up, I want to add some lights. So George is going to light this thing up.
So today we're going to be installing 20 rock lights. It's going to light up the whole undercarriage. You know, our focus is to light up, you know, all the suspension work, everything that's, you know, it's custom made. We're going to, you know, light up the whole rear end, the whole front axle. So it's a real meticulous job, but once it's all done, it really sets the car off at night. So like on these, usually what we have to do before we start drilling is we have to look underneath the hood, because on these newer models, you know, they have so much electronics, they have everything that they jam up under the hood, that you have to be careful, because if you start drilling, you can easily, you know, drill through like an ECM or a fuse box or something. Perfect example, there's a big wiring harness right here, and we could easily hit this, so that's pretty much why you want to be careful when you want to pull these out, or always see before you start drilling. Now that I got the holes in the fender wells, it's time to start running some wire. You know, the tough challenge on it is going to be just trying to link everything up together, you know, making sure that everything is in line. And not only does it have to work right, you know, it has to look good underneath the truck, because this is a jacked up truck, you know, and when people look underneath it, you don't want to see wires hanging or, you know, things right underneath the motors. You want it to look nice and neat for putting these lights. They're 2,000 lumen, and they have 3 little LEDs in them. So, I mean, you always want to put them in the right space. That way we don't cast any shadows or anything like that. They're right in the perfect place to show the perfect lighting on it. Cool, I got these all wired in. Now it's time to plug them up and see if they work. 2 down, 18 to go.
I can't stand all that chrome on the new 450 shop truck. So we're going to pull it all off, and Edgar and the team are going to paint it all glossy black to match the rest of the truck.
We got this grill for Bill's F450. What he wants to do is black it out. So what I got to do, pretty much tear it apart, scuff it, prep it, and turn it into gloss black. Pretty much what I'm mixing up is some sealer that's specialized for chrome, because usually when most people paint chrome, eventually like 2 months or so later it starts flaking off. So this is the sealer that I'm using, which is black. It's gonna give me an advantage of when I throw my coat, which is the base coat. It gives faster coverage, and it'll be gloss black by the end of the day. Done deal, baby.
So at a young age, I got into cars. All through high school, had custom cars and kind of grew from a hobby to a full-time career. My favorite part about building the cars and why I do what I do is I like to be able to show what I do with my hands and create something from nothing. For me as a builder, I've always been on the forefront of all new technology, new builds, new custom ideas. I'm a real technological person, so I've been able to bring the 21st century into a lot of hot rod builds, which is kind of where the industry is going now. Extensive has always been years ahead of the game. Stuff that they're doing now, people are not going to be doing for 5 more years, you know? And to be here and kind of bring, ideas I have and the skills I have to team up with what they already do and all the extravagant builds they do is just going to kill it. I always like doing different kinds of stuff. I don't like to be like the cookie cutter kind of guy where you're doing the same car over and over, repetitive stuff. One thing about being extensive, you never know what's going to come through the door next. You look at it and go, how are we going to do that? And next thing you know, it's just, wow, there it is.
It's all coming together on the F450. We're going to add 28-inch wheels and a rolling bed cover. I love seeing projects come together. New shop truck, new shop trailer, trailer loaded. It's impressive. As good as the 450 looks, it's got to be built to perform. We have a car show we're going to, so we're going to load it up with about 20,000 pounds. So we're not wasting any time putting the shop truck to work. Last little bit, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I know it's your first show with us, man. You got to be excited.
I am, dude. I am. I love the shows.
Hey, it's a lot of work, but you have a good time, too.
It's a lot of stuff.
You ready to roll, man? Last little bit.
Everything else is pretty much loaded up.
Man, Timmy's finishing up right now with the trucks. He got it all loaded up. This is the last thing. We can roll.
It's ready to go?
Yeah. Here, I'll grab this one.
All right, let's go see it. I'll get this.
Come on, man.
Oh, man. That is way bigger than I thought you guys were going to build it.
A little bit higher than we originally anticipated.
For sure.
Well, it's got to look good, too.
Oh, it definitely does. Me being in the office, I don't get to see a whole lot of the builds until they're done. But seeing this thing roll out, as a whole is just, it's mind-blowing.
Let's go check it out.
All right.
Let's go load up.
That's a hauler. Right? That is serious.
Do you expect anything less than Bill to put a brand new truck on the lift?
That's very true.
It's a little bit higher than I was originally going to do. We just, keep pushing the button, kind of
look better as it got bigger.
Get it on the lift.
It's a little higher when you wanted it.
It's a perfect height.
It's awesome.
I know at first I said I wanted just a little lift, little tires, but seeing the truck now, the height it is, the huge lift we put on it, the huge 4-link, all blacked out with big wheels and tires, this couldn't represent Extensive any better.
The wheels on this thing are awesome. That set it off right there.
28-inch TISs, all black.
That's a monster. But it fits it.
Perfect.
Yes. And the 4-link under there is just massive.
Yeah, you was wondering why I needed that many 1-inch FK Heims, right?
Yeah. Now I see why they're all there.
Right. I mean, that's a tremendous amount of weight behind stopping and starting. So each one of those points were just critical. It's pretty cool, too. I wanted to mix it up a little bit and put coilovers in the front. And, of course, we had to have the airbags in the back. To haul weight like this, there's no way you could haul this much tonnage with coilovers in the test.
Much less 2 trucks on this trailer. So this truck's going to be a workhorse that we're going to use. I mean, it's going to be used.
We had to make it look cool, too. We had to have the tube work coming all down and just black it all out.
Bill could not have any chrome. Everything blacked out.
And spider wraps come in, wrap the bars, wrap the shocks, the inner fender wells. It's still black, but it's little twist.
Yeah. And how shows go, we can't leave all the products in there. So we put a bed cover and a pull out. There's a deck system in the bed. You pull out and everything goes in there. And then the cover covers everything.
Yeah, so we can lock it up, put all our straps up, put all our equipment up. Very cool.
You guys ready to roll? That's all done?
Everything's strapped. That strap, trailer's hooked up. Put these in, we can roll.
Let's go for a test drive.
Let's go.
I'm driving.
Shotgun.
Show season starting off, and I'm excited. It used to be when I roll into a car show, you want to get that trophy. Now how you roll into the car show is way more impressive than any trophy you go home with, in my opinion. Rolling up in the new shop truck, new trailer, with the trailer fully loaded, that's what a car show is all about to me. Just one more example of us building cool stuff and then showing how we do it all around the country.